Hey everyone, welcome to week 2 of the best of We'll Just Tell Your Mother We Ate It All, a bit of a special thing that we're doing for you. We hope that you enjoyed last week's episode and we hope that you enjoy this one. If you don't know what it is yet, we know people often start on best of episodes. It is a podcast about teen sex comedies and things thereabouts, but largely it is just an anthropological study into the bizarre personal life of our co-host Andy Hastings. The other co-hosts are me, Rose Piper, and Jamie Kirk. Some stuff that you'd probably need to know about us to get the most out of the show is I am a lesbian trans woman. Andy has this ridiculous personal life with an open marriage and possibly a drug problem, and Jamie is a bit of a fat nerd. That should kind of help you have the best time listening to this. Let's just get into it, because there's heaps of good shit in this. So I'll talk to you at the end of the episode. Until then, please enjoy part 2 of the best of We'll Just Tell Your Mother We Ate It All on this week's episode of...
Well, we'll just tell your mother that we ate it all.
Happy 2-year anniversary podcast, We'll Just Tell Your Mother We Ate It All. A podcast name that I still can't really ever get right. It's a really weird string of words to say, especially as the title of something, but you seem to make it work for 2 whole years. That's amazing. The following is a little clip from when I was privileged to be a guest on the pod. My name is Lauren Bonner. Please enjoy.
No, your great-grandfather was the vaudevillian stand-up comedian who died after a bombing.
Shit,
Jamie has an update. Who froze to death on a park bench.
I can't believe I forgot about this. So, Lauren, do you know about the
No.
first step of the story? Okay. So
Quick
Hastings
version.
found out that, like, in his family genealogy,
My great-grandfather.
bombing runs in their blood.
Yeah.
So, like,
No, we don't know anything. There's no way you can tell it was a bomb.
So his great-grandfather went out and did a gig one night. He was like a vaudeville
Like piano.
comedian. And he
Yeah.
was doing his famous bit,
I've been doing
Ass
stand-up for
Baby.
5 years.
I was going to say.
Yeah.
When I found out
Secretly,
about this-
portly, Ass
What
Baby.
country is this?
England. This is
England.
England.
Yeah.
And when I found this out, I've been doing comedy for like 4 years already.
Wow.
Like, and my dad was like, "Oh, you know, you're like great-grandfather."
Yeah, and when you told us you'd been doing comedy for about 7 years.
Yeah.
And what year was this?
It was when my grandfather was 4.
So you're
So
great.
that's
So he would have been
Early
like
times.
he'd be in his 80s or something now if he was still alive, I guess.
Wow.
So like 80 years ago maybe.
Yeah. So he bombed doing Ass Baby, a
Yeah.
famous Hastings family bit. And then he went out and got drunk and fell asleep on a park bench after bombing and froze
Like
to
drunk.
death.
passed
Yeah.
out.
Whoa,
Yeah.
that's
It's very scary.
maybe in your future.
I always think
Oh,
about
yeah.
Lieutenant Dan when people tell that story. Do you remember Lieutenant Dan from Forrest
Yeah,
Gump?
yeah, I can
it's like that.
I can
Lieutenant
see.
Dan,
I can
you
see
ain't
you
got
as
no
like,
jokes.
There's an update from the wedding, Jamie. Do you want to fill Lauren in?
So I was very excited about this.
Oh, hang on. So this is wedding related.
Yeah, I went and
Okay.
talked to Hastings' dad during the wedding.
Right.
I was like, I want to know more about like the failed comedian Hastings.
So the reason I found out so late is he died when the park bench thing happened when my grandfather was 4.
Yeah.
And my grandfather's dead now. So it's
Yeah.
like my dad, my granddad didn't even know him really. He was
Yeah,
like, you
yeah.
know, so it's like we don't really have a lot of info.
And what was his name?
Can't remember.
What?
Something Osborne. His last name was Osborne.
Osborne.
I swear you've said it before.
I don't know my great grandfather's name. I know my grandfather's name, but I don't know my great grandfather's name.
So anyway,
Probably
I
the same,
went
you
and
know.
I asked him. I was like, "So how about like he's got failed comedian in the bloodline?"
All right,
With-
well that's. I'm still
Yeah.
going. I'm still working on it.
Yeah,
You never know.
and Hastings' dad like lights up, and he was like, "Mate, not just one. There's 4." And so
What?
Shut up.
I was like, "You're kidding," and he was like, because he was saying that like not only did Hastings' great grandfather did it, his
My dad
great
very obnoxiously tried to insert himself in there. I thought, which I thought was
No, he
unreal.
didn't. He didn't. He said great grandfather, grandfather, all peripherally involved at being bad at comedy or being bad at comedy.
Yeah.
And then it skipped just him. And then he said with a lot of malice in his tone, and now it's moved to Andrew as well.
What did your grandfather do? Was he also a performer?
It wasn't his job. It was like he did like some like musical funny stuff. He like was a pianist and a singer.
So, but
He did tech for...
Yeah. And then your great grandfather was also like a pianist as
They
well.
all did like musical comedies.
And so now you've just dropped that other skill entirely.
Yeah.
And
Well,
just
my stepdad keeps telling me to be a musical comedian. but I don't know.
Man,
how
you've tried everything else at this point. You may as well give it a go.
But I keep telling him I don't like. I keep.
But it's in your blood to be bad
yeah,
at it.
It's in your
it's like hard to,
blood.
like I don't want to be a hack. Like it's hard to be.
Are You Awake, Love with
There's-
Andrew Hastings.
Yeah, there's no like emo musical comedy.
That's true. That wasn't. Yeah, that wasn't the kind of music I liked to play though. Really, to be honest.
You didn't like vaudeville music?
No. Or yeah, no. I could do musical emo comedy. That could be fun.
Do that. That'd be funny.
MCR's already pretty funny.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
I mean, you could, you're always looking for an angle.
Yeah, it is. I am always looking for an angle. Just
But it's-
making money.
Just that he
Comedy.
said so readily. He was like,
Manipulation of
every
family
generation.
yeah.
There's like kind of like the Slayer bloodline.
And I didn't know. I didn't know until I'd already started. I wouldn't have started if I'd known it was cursed.
Well, did you know it was every generation?
No, I didn't know that until the wedding. Yeah, it was weird.
What a day to find out.
Wow, your father comes to you on the day of your wedding and tells you it's in your blood to fail. Now go give
Yeah.
your speech,
Yeah.
son.
Now go, yeah. Oh,
Oh, how are you going today, guys?
I got married. Nah.
And then your dad pretty brazenly hit on Yvette during his speech while he was totaled.
Yeah, that was gross.
He was.
Whoa, what did
very
he say?
drunk during the
He
wedding.
just like called her hot, essentially. Like,
And then kind of like leered at her a bit.
Kind of standard father
did
of the
thing and like
groom.
looked at her and went like,
They like flirt a lot. It's like pretty uncomfortable.
Well-
Yvette's like made like a lot of jokes that have made me quite uncomfortable that I'm not convinced of jokes.
Well, your dad is just probably like a more powerful version of you. So,
Hello. No, put it up louder. Conchetta's listening to Marriage Story clips in the background, so I thought now would be a great time to send the a thing. Hi, I'm Ben Caution. Hi, congratulations on 2 years of doing the podcast. Congrats to Jamie, Rosie, Beastings. I know as one of the first people to ever do a podcast, it ain't easy. The Nonchalant Comedy Podcast was at the forefront of podcasting, and I broke the mold so that you guys could run. I walked so you could have 2 bionic legs and be something. Thank you, and good luck for the rest.
friend of mine that another very good friend
Davis?
of mine. No, well, Davis was in love with this particular woman and was like obsessed with her.
Sucked in, Davis.
Yeah, they
Tell,
say
give me her details. I will go fuck her tonight. Give me-
they say never dog the boys, but you never know till you've been tested. Am I right? But yeah, he was in love with her, but we were just like we were staying on his couch bed once, and we hooked up, and it was glorious.
That's cool, dude.
Yeah, I won't go into further detail because it'll get very.
Wait, so you were saying the first time your
All right,
kid?
now, Ben, tell us about when you lost your virginity, and we want gruesome
Okay.
details.
Are you sorry?
So, last week,
Hold on.
I got a boner. for the first time.
I have a question for Jamie. So you trying to tell
I
me?
fucked a mango.
You trying to tell me, Jamie?
I microwaved it.
Is that wrong? We're in love. We're getting married.
What's her name?
It's converting.
Hey everyone, Jamie here. Oh boy, the Penn story. I'm so happy that this made it to the best of. What I'm not happy about is that I've tried this fucking on stage at stand-up so many times and it never gets what it deserves. I should be Mike Birbiglia right now, touring a show around various mid-sized theaters called The Pen is Mightier Than the Social Anxiety, but I can't even get it to work at a 3-minute story of bloody cactus juice. Anyway, enjoy the clip. It's better than I am on stage, I guess.
Fuck me.
I became good friends with someone post uni,
No
and
bragging.
we figured out that we were close friends because he identified me for something very dumb I did in a tutorial once, where like
Where you showed up and you thought you were supposed to be teaching this other class, But you came here, and then years later you married her.
This is how I met your mother.
Yeah.
This is a beautiful hymn reference. And also, at Notre Dame, the biggest society was the How I Met Your Mother Society.
Was it really?
That's not a kid. That's the truth.
That's
That
very
rules.
funny.
How did you? So, what did this friend recognize?
Yeah, what happened?
Well, like he was. So what happened was one time we were doing kind of like a exercise where we had to like silently write like an essay, and then we'd like give it to someone else to read, and then they'd read it aloud to the class. And as I
That
started,
sounds terrifying.
Yeah.
Did they name you?
Where'd you go to uni? A
Wait,
nightmare? This is horrible.
this isn't the horrible part.
But well, like, when they read your thing out, did they say your name, or was it just like reading out?
No,
an
no, they
anonymous
just say
essay?
it's like I'm reading this person's essay, the person
Right.
next to me. It's not like
That's horrifying.
Yeah, anyway, so like I get into my little pencil case, I try my pen, it doesn't work. And I was too nervous to ask someone for a pen, so I just scratched indents into the paper
Oh my god.
and wrote a whole essay like that.
Oh my god.
You're an adult at this time.
Yeah.
That is how that.
That's
oh,
nuts. That's
That is a
fucking
plot
insane.
line from one of these
This
fucking
is
movies.
my second year of uni. And
Jesus,
Second
what year
year?
was this?
2006?
Fuck. So
Second year.
Then it's pens down, finish. Guy hands me his essay. I hand him my blank piece of paper with indents, and he was like, "What is this?" And I was like, "I
It's
didn't have a
Braille.
pen." And he looked at me and he goes, "I have a pen."
good lord.
Everyone had a good laugh at me, and that's how my friend later was like, "Hey, you went to Macquarie. Like, you're the pen guy."
All I need to. I don't want to leave this
You'd be
topic. I'm
famous
so sorry.
to all the people in that class.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, that story's fucked.
Did you know that it was going to be read out?
Yeah.
And then you made the decision not to ask.
What
for
did
it.
you
that's
think would
horrifying.
happen?
What
What
did
did
you
you think?
expect?
Yeah, what
I
was
don't. I was anxious.
What was
Like,
going
if
through
you
your
were
head?
worried
Were you
about,
like,
like,
is
you
this
said-
legible? Can I even read what's being put down?
Like, what do you think would
It
be
was pretty deep scratches.
like? What did you think?
No, flip it over. You read it with your hands. It's braille. It's quite an indent.
What did you think would be worse? Someone reading your chicken,
I thought asking for the
your
pen would be
your
worse.
chicken
Clearly.
scratching, or you'd put your hand up and be like, "Excuse me, Professor. Actually, I forgot a pen."
I didn't
Everyone
wanna-
like, oh, you fucking idiot! You came to this class without a pen.
I didn't want to look unprepared. I had a
my
whole
God.
pencil case.
Oh,
That is every bit of this story is absolutely scrumptious.
that is up there with the best on the pod.
This
have
is-
you saved
yeah.
that for the year anniversary?
I think something with Lex reminded me of it earlier this week, and I was like, I should mention.
How
it.
often
that's
do you
so
think
good.
about this?
I haven't thought about it for years. Really,
That's bullshit. I would think about that every
Yeah.
It would
I'd
be
think about that every 5
constantly
minutes.
looming over my head.
Like,
I'll be like,
every time I touch a pen, I'm like,
Especially-
shit.
Well, I did
Fuck,
stop.
where were you?
That
Where
was
were
the
you?
last day I ever wrote with my hands.
especially like
Next class, you turn up with a fucking laptop.
Yeah,
yeah,
invented the iPad.
Yeah, that's me.
you had a nightmare scenario as well. You had this horrific experience. You thought it was done. You thought you were done with your life. You made a new friend. He was like, "Wait, hold on. You did the thing. That's your worst fear come to life. Surely that someone witnessed this."
Yeah, he was a cool guy. We got beers.
Yeah, right. Fair
But
enough.
also, you've
What if it happens again? When you meet a new person now, you're like, "Fuck! What if they were in the room too?"
Oh, I think it's too far removed now.
What if you are doing the Melbourne International Comedy Festival gala
And someone
and
remembers
someone
that?
in the front row is like, "It's the pen guy."
I'd probably do the bit and crush.
Yeah, that would actually.
yeah,
destroy
like,
it.
well, I guess it's come up quite naturally.
Yeah, see, like,
Story.
it would be
Yeah,
different
yeah.
because, like, if someone did an open mic, if they were like, hey, I'm trying comedy for the first time, like, you're the
Yeah.
pen guy, I'd be like, oh, being at Sweeney's is far more embarrassing than
Yeah,
the pen
yeah.
story.
Yeah.
Like, I've far surpassed that.
Yeah, and
like,
you-
I'm
you
drunk, it's
blossomed.
8:30 p.m. I'm trying out a new 4 that I forget halfway through. Yeah, that's way more
Blossomed,
embarrassing.
your self-confidence has skyrocketed since
Yeah,
those
that's
start
probably
days of
why I don't
06.
think about it as much
Come a
anymore.
long way, baby.
I used to for quite a bit.
Now you can be delighted when you think about it because it's honestly one of the best things I've ever heard. In my entire life.
Well, now
It's
I...
an unbelievable story.
Now
That is
maybe,
so good.
now maybe I will think about it every day because I'll be like, I made Alexi's life a little better that day.
That's stage worthy.
Yes, it
You
is.
can
When
definitely
you
do
were-
that.
I
It's
think I
stand-up.
tried to do it as like a dual, like type of banter thing with caution, but because it's so specific, I guess it's like not very jokey. It's like this is what I did.
But
like,
there are so many funny
Everything
details.
is-
Like those are the
everything
laugh
is-
lines.
Maybe I'll
It's
try
just
it.
like,
Yes.
peeling all the
And
layers
then you've
away.
got like a beautiful. This is a
Sorry, I'm
story
probably
club
not allowed
story.
to talk about layers on this podcast.
Yeah.
It's an onion thing related to Shrek. I see what
Intellectual
you're trying to do
property.
there. Yeah, so while you're here, I can actually take. I can put this through. This is going under the Mic Check copyright. But we're a highly litigious micronation, the Mic Check Republic. But like that's a story club story because you got a beautiful ending where it's like, I've got a great friend that knows me and has seen me blossom into a hairy man. And,
I suppose.
comedian
But
with
it could
a
happen
podcast.
again. You could meet someone.
You can
else
make
from
up
that
some
class.
like thing about like when he left.
You could be
the pub
70
with it,
years
he was
old, you
like,
don't know.
Hey man, and then just hands you a pen.
Yeah.
Yeah, this
You
could
might
happen.
need this.
I don't
It'll
think
This
become
could
a thing
happen-
where people come to see you and they throw pens at you on stage.
That'd be
I would
sick.
love. This is your version of Wolf of Wall Street, where like, sell me this pen. Well, if you don't have a pen, you're gonna actually terrifying
this will
experience.
happen. And then, so I tell that story, and then I just get pushed a mountain of cocaine. And then just like, you won. I just dip my face in it and die.
Man, he looks so upset then, just like imagining you doing cocaine that he's had no
Oh, yeah.
involvement in.
I'm not doing it with Hastings around.
Yeah, let the record show. Not saying I was disappointed. Do not care for the white stuff.
Oh man.
Huge hello and congratulations to the We'll Just Tell Your Mother We Ate It All gang, Rosie, Jamie and Andy. 2 years of your podcast. That's incredible. I'm so proud of all of you. And thank you so much for, this is Alex J, by the way. Thank you so much for having me on as a guest twice now. I just feel so honored to be invited onto a podcast and then spend hours of my, twice now, if I could just twice this has happened, and then spend hours of my life watching these movies in preparation for the podcast, to then go on the podcast and only speak about them for about 5 minutes in total. So thanks again, and congratulations to all of you. And I hope that one day we will actually be able to get together and talk about the movie Bring It On, so that it wasn't just a complete waste of my time. All right, love you. Bye.
Are you only getting that one removed?
Just this
or
one, yeah, because it's the only visible one I
actually
have.
always liked
Right.
that tattoo.
Thanks, man.
It's a shame that
It's all right. I just don't like it being visible. I've got like 10 other ones, but they're all easily hidden.
for like work and shit.
Yeah, just
fair
in
enough.
general life stuff.
man.
So it's been
Rove
a long.
wanted you to get rid of it?
Yeah. No, I've been doing this for 2 years.
Say bye to
Oh,
that.
really?
Rove rolled up your sleeve. Oh, what the?
Say bye to that tattoo for me.
he just rolled
Tell
up.
your mum I'm disappointed in you for me.
Has that really been 2 years?
2 years.
How
and
frequently do you go?
Every 10 weeks.
Fucking hell.
It's
Oh, yeah, because that's
That's
How I Met Your
ridiculous.
Mother plot.
Oh, yeah.
Man, I just
No,
had
it's
the idea of
10
Rove
sessions.
silently rolling up your sleeve, then just going, Peter Hellier doesn't have tattoos.
long sleeves for you.
That's why Corinne Grant left. She wanted to get a sleeve.
For context, Alex worked with Rove on a couple things.
On a pilot that we did recently. Yeah.
Fingers
For
crossed.
The stage thing as well, though, right?
So, yeah, we did like a live kind of talk show as
Alex
well.
knows
for a
Rove,
bit.
no big deal.
You brought it up.
Oh, whatever. She just thinks
Shut up, man. But keep
Alex-
going.
Whatever, she just thinks she's better than us.
Alex is just, ever since Alex has started working with Rove, she's been a real bitch.
I don't mean to speak out of turn.
She won't stop bringing it up.
It's the first thing I said when I walked in here.
Tell us everything about working with Rove.
He's like the best. I can't even. Like,
Are
I
you
wish I
taller
could.
than him?
No, I think we're about the same height.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's still pretty short.
I'm 5'8".
That's quite short for a man.
Oh, is it?
No, it's
How
not.
tall are
Jamie,
you?
that's quite short for a man. I'm about 6 foot.
You said that.
Are we getting into this again?
I said
So
the
Are we
real-
getting
I
into
actually
this
said the
again?
real height this time. I'm actually about 6 foot.
What do you normally
D-
say?
does
Say?
about 6 foot mean
About
just
6'9".
under 6 foot?
Like 5'8" and a half.
Yeah.
I mean,
Alright.
like 4 inches under.
I'm between like 5'11" and a half and 6 foot. I'm maybe like a centimeter under. I think I'm like 170.
Depending on whether you put your lifts in your shoes that day or
I'm
not.
about 179 centimeters. I'm about that. 78, 79.
Go the Tom
No.
Cruise and wear little boots with heels. That's what he does.
Yeah.
I'm actually quite tall.
Good for you. I'm so happy for you. Jamie, how tall are you?
I think I'm about 5'11", actually.
All right. Rose?
6'2".
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we all tower over Rove is what we're saying.
Yeah.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. that's what we were
I didn't
getting
know
at.
that's
We won't stand
know
for
what
that
podcast-
intimidating persona he
Do you know
puts
what
on.
podcast Rove has appeared on?
Oh yeah.
The Enemy podcast.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Are they the enemy podcast, like, officially?
Yeah. I feel
Starting
like
from now.
I feel like maybe I don't know if we're allowed to tell this story, but I'm going to anyway. It was like I can't remember if it was Cam or Alexi that I was talking to, but they said like they were really worried when he was going to their house and they like cleaned the bathroom and shit. They're like, "What if Rove needs to pee in my toilet?"
That's quite cute.
Dad's coming over. Aw.
Hey, Fiona Cox here. Just want to say happy 2 years to We'll Just Tell Your Mother We Ate It All. Not sure what they're going to play from my episode, but just happy to be a part of it. Stoked to be considered the best of anything, really. Love you, miss you all, and I'll see you on the other side of ISO.
If you were going to parody a classic Australian ad, Jamie.
5 Cougars, thanks.
Five Cougars, thanks.
We did
Five
parody
Cougars.
that. It never ended up.
Yeah, I
being-
assume you study that at advertising school.
No, I don't think so.
It never ended up being showed anywhere, but they tasked a few of my friends to like make this kind of like yearbook video for our school. So we basically just wrote sketches, and one of them was like someone standing in the line of the canteen, like thinking like 2 packets of chips, 2 little pizzas, and a bottle of Coke, and then getting up and the old canteen lady be like, "What'll it be, Dale? 5 Cougars, thanks."
That's funny.
It was actually pretty good.
I do the corn one where it's like, "Ma, the rains are here." Instead of the corn.
Oh, I loved that.
I do that, but instead of corn, it's cum.
Oh, wow. Of course you
Cane
would.
It's
Super
like a
juicy
teenage
cum.
boy jacking off out his window.
You filmed this, haven't you? Yourself?
And it lands
Yeah, we
on the
actually
window.
we did
Hey,
an entire episode about when he filmed it and sent it to Tom Orr.
on the tin roof, and it's like, and then he's like, "Oh man, the rains are here," and then the end of the sketch, like the big punchline,
But what's the ad for?
it's a parody.
Yeah, but you've got an ad parody usually has some...
No. It's not
Or
an
in the
ad that is a
context of these
parody.
scary
This is a
movies,
comedy
they're not.
parody of an ad.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm saying, come, and then the guy goes, "Oh man, the rain is here." Then he does the thing where he gets up and runs off, and as he's doing it, a bit of cum gets in his face.
Okay. That's not actually... would fit in a scary movie
Yeah.
type
Yeah.
of movie.
Like,
I would-
has
I'd
an A, B,
do
and C,
the,
that's a sketch, like.
I would do the AFL commercial where it was like American people who were like
I just had an idea for one.
being like huge guys wearing no pads jumping on top of each
Oh,
other.
wow, I
I'd like to
remember that
see
one.
that, but obviously it'd make it very explicitly sexual.
I want to do... If we stay on your tack, I just wanted to... So establishing shot. There's a big fucking truck. It's 2 tradies. They're just eating a bowl full of cum.
Yeah.
Watching someone have like degustation at another restaurant. They're just shoveling cum into their mouths, and they're just like, "Do these guys know what they're missing out on?" And the guy,
Oh, wow. The 420 ad.
the guy gets a big spoonful of cum in his mouth, and he goes, "Wouldn't have a clue by the looks of them." Cum, the great Australian bite.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. Well, you know.
Do you have anything to contribute
Oh, I
to this?
don't,
Me and
I don't
Asings
think
are out
so.
here fucking leading comedy.
Yeah.
Putting
What
numbers
about
on the board.
What about like a big
God.
What is it? The box score. Like Hastings 4 points. Technically top scorer, percentage 1. But like, my stats are terrible. But yeah, no. What was I saying? No, what you do, it's like the VB one where it's like you can get it lifting, you can get it
Oh,
mowing
God.
you. Yeah.
You can get
yeah.
it any old how. Matter
Yeah.
of fact, I got
As
it
a
now.
matter of fact, I got it now. It's just like cum, between cum
Oh,
and mouth.
God.
Yeah, instead of the beer cracking. And
I'm
then it's like
trying to
dun, 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 and you get the song. That's all funny.
Yeah.
Dun, dun.
Yeah, it's just how to make
Dun.
content.
Yeah, right. So you get to do that. Do you remember the ad where it's like
Oh, no.
the tongue on its own and it
Oh, the
pushed
worst
me,
ad of all time.
and then just touched
I
me,
know who
and he
made that.
leaps
He's
out.
actually,
and
Really?
yeah, he's one of my, he's actually favorite boss I've ever had.
Oh, wow.
He's
That
a
ad was
great
like
guy.
super successful.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
And what was it
wasn't
for?
successful
It was for a
because everyone-
drink.
It was
Two
for
is extra dry.
Ted's.
Yeah.
That was the ad that started the really good beer ads because everyone was
Yeah.
like,
Oh, because that became like a
shit.
thing, right? Like,
yeah,
like a
everyone
big
was like,
budget.
crap, now I've got to do a big beer ad and it's gonna
Surely
be
the
good.
big ad came
And then
before
that's, no, that came after it
Really?
as a parody to everybody doing these big.
that. Oh,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, that's how I
Yeah.
remember. Also, like, you wouldn't invest that amount of money into a big budget beer ad unless you know that big budget cool beer ads.
Yeah.
work,
Yeah.
right?
Existed,
Like,
yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah,
So then the
and,
tongue makes it-
and the marketing
Well,
department
I thought
wouldn't
there
let
would
them
have
either.
been successful beer ones before that.
I'm sure there
Well,
were.
but
Probably
There
not with
were,
that
but
Like, that
budget.
was like a very original, creative,
Yeah.
cool, high
Most,
concept.
yeah,
Like,
most of them didn't have
Like
concepts
Tui's Extra
behind
Dry
them.
ones were the only beer ads I didn't like.
So the tongue dives into a bath of calm at the end. That's
Yeah.
it.
Right.
Sorry. Sorry.
Before you get on the phone.
Can I have a job? He's like,
Jobs
he's
now,
got,
right?
he's got a lot of ideas.
I do have the original guy's phone number. I was like,
got a lot of
do you
ideas.
mind if we do this to you?
You might have to move them off the idea of semen. I will not budge on that.
This is the Goodwill Hunting scene with the writing on the
It's
So
just
we've got
cum.
these two sheets.
It's just cum on a blackboard
I was
that
gonna
we've
say it's
rubbed
a
in.
giant dick.
Happy birthday from Danny. Good anniversary. Happy.
Day off.
No, I didn't get it really.
Yeah, James.
I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't. You must have a little bit of Cameron in you, right, Dan? Like
What's Cameron?
the guy, his Ferris Bueller's
The cock.
mate. Yeah,
Who's Cameron?
His sad friend.
yeah, the loser.
Oh, really?
The loser dweeb
No,
friend.
No,
Do you identify with Ferris?
I
I used to
don't
get-
remember the guy that was with Ferris.
There's a guy with Ferris the whole movie.
Is it?
The
Yeah.
whole point is about 3 friends.
I thought it was just Ferris solo.
It's clear that Dan,
I thought-
it's him and his
I thought
girlfriend.
Ferris
and
was
his
a
friend.
Lone Ranger.
it's
No.
clear that Dan has not watched the movie.
And there's also the sub-
in time for the podcast.
No, I've definitely seen bits and pieces of it
Oh my god.
over the last decade.
Oh my sweet
No, over
baby
the last,
Jesus.
probably over the last 25 years because it came out.
Wait, can we?
Did it come out in 1988?
1986.
Fucking
Can
hell!
I ask you something?
Yeah, yeah.
Please don't interrupt him.
Yeah.
Can you give like a short yet detailed summary of what you think happens in the movie?
Short
What's
yet
the plot?
detailed.
What's
From
the plot?
beginning to the end. Yeah.
Yeah,
what's
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
Ferris is a carefree kind of young guy.
That
Okay.
makes sense.
He's
Yeah.
at school.
Yeah.
He's very carefree. He's sort of like a class clown type.
Yeah. Okay.
Would like have wise cracks.
Yeah.
To be disruptive.
Yeah.
But also like widely beloved.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
it.
Which is annoying. And I really grated on
Deep
my,
resentment for Ferris Bueller.
I
coming
resented
through.
him.
Yeah.
Because I was getting my head pushed into a bubbler.
Yeah.
But so then he decides to like take a day off.
Yeah.
So far, you've described
Okay,
what
so
Ferris
far-
Bueller is and named what
Yeah.
happens in the title.
So far,
Yeah.
he's seen a Ferris Bueller's Day Off poster.
yeah.
He's just recounting
Deduce
what
the
Jamie
rest.
read out earlier.
How does he take a day off?
What happens on his day off?
All manner of things. He
List some of them.
I know that for a fact that he gets a hold of a car.
He does. That's true. He does get a hold
Part
of
of
the
the
car.
movie.
Is that a key point?
Yes.
I felt like that was a cornerstone detail.
Yeah.
And I believe it's a red car.
Yeah.
It is
Is
red.
it a Ferrari?
You've done
It's a
well,
Ferrari.
yeah.
It's a big
Yeah,
red
yeah.
It's a big
Ferrari.
red car.
It's a vintage
Big
Ferrari.
red car for big red. But no.
Jesus.
And I think he.
Oh, this is the best podcast episode ever.
Okay, so Ferris Bueller's one of the Wiggles. Continue.
Yeah, Ferris Bueller's in the Wiggles. And I think the red car either belongs to his girlfriend's dad or his stepdad.
Neither.
Nah, you
Neither.
Or a
close.
teacher.
Neither. Yeah.
It's his friend Cameron, who
friend-
you
it's the
somehow
fr-
forgotten it's
it's
his
the-
father.
it's-
Yeah, the
Cameron's.
friend you forgot existed.
It's Cameron's dad. Yeah, Cameron. Cameron doesn't exist in my head.
Well, there is a theory.
That's a
about-
very
I
popular
used to get
theory.
told that I was Cameron because back pre-transition and everything, like I kind of looked like him.
Oh, I can see that.
Yeah, actually, I do see
When I
that.
had, like, short
particularly
hair
when
and
you had
stuff.
short hair. Yeah,
Was
when
he in
we met,
Breakfast
you
Club?
definitely. No.
No.
He was in Spin City.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say. That's
Yeah.
the only other thing I know him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you're thinking of
And a recurring
That
role
other
in
director.
Scrubs.
Yeah.
John Hughes.
So the
same guy.
So the
So-
take.
Did he direct this as well?
yeah.
The theory
Oh.
is that they say that Ferris Bueller's
In Cameron's
Yeah,
imagination.
he doesn't. But yeah, go on.
Oh,
What
yeah,
happened?
okay. And so I know other key points. Like,
Okay.
there's a
Yes,
bit where he
yes.
goes, Bueller.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Were you in there? He says Bueller, and he says like 3 times.
Yeah, and he's a guy, Ben Stein is the guy that says that.
Yeah.
He's got like a monotone.
Yeah, he's barely in the movie.
He's a Republican.
He's kind of in that one. scene.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm loving
He's
it.
a Republican.
I'm loving this.
Yeah.
So how does
He
Ferris?
supported Trump.
So how does Ferris take his day off? What does he do?
Yeah, list some things Ferris does on his day off.
No.
He has a-
You're both asking different
Yeah,
questions.
I'm
He's
asking
like,
a
how does he get
Oh,
the day
It's
off?
right.
basically the longest day off in the world. Because it like seems like it goes for the whole
That's
movie.
true. There's no way he can fill that in.
Almost
one
like
day.
it goes for a whole day.
Yeah, it feels like so
Yeah.
long.
Yeah.
I think he gets the day off by calling it a sickie.
Yes, he does.
Yeah,
Got it.
but that's pretty easy to guess. Even if you
Yeah,
haven't
it's
seen
also
it.
True,
like
yeah, yeah.
again huge part of the movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He definitely gets discovered in his ruse.
Oh no, that's kind of.
Kind
Yeah.
of. He gets discovered
Spoilers.
by his sister.
Yeah, his
Right,
sister who's
right.
mad at him, but at the end she covers for him.
Yeah.
And he's just so cool, isn't he?
He does get away with it. Do you want to talk about character arcs or motivations or things they did?
Or any of the
Yeah.
big set pieces. Do you remember any of the big set pieces?
Yeah, there's like
Yeah.
a few really famous set pieces.
Yeah.
Classroom?
No, it's a day off. Why would he be in a classroom?
There are things. There are things in the classroom,
Sure.
but it's not him.
That's not
in part of the
what
movie. He's in class,
No,
No,
he's never in class because he's having a day off.
so they don't even show
It's
the.
literally in the title,
So they
Dan.
don't-
The closest he gets to the school ground is in the car park.
Oh, I
Yeah.
thought that he was at. They showed him a bit at the school.
No,
to set
no.
up
He
the
fakes it
movie.
to his parents,
Oh, okay.
and they call him sick.
Also, it starts with him taking the day off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And then he goes on a bunch of activities with like his girlfriend.
His girlfriend and his friend
and
Cameron. Yeah.
What's his
And
girlfriend's
it is-
name again? Starts with S.
She's hot.
Yeah, she's hot as shit.
She's very, very attractive.
Her name is Sloane.
Sloane, that's right. Yeah, yeah.
Sly and the Family.
Sloane.
Yeah, no, it's still a good pun though.
Yeah, sure.
Sly and the Family Sloane.
Sure.
No,
I know that they're
what?
onto him. They're onto him. They're like
Yeah.
they're trying to get him.
Yeah.
The principal reckons that
Yeah,
he's-
Principal Rooney.
Principal
Yeah,
Rooney.
they think that
Principal Rooney thinks he's on the shonk.
Yeah.
but they're trying to get him
Yeah.
for this thing.
But he
Even though-
And it
outsmarts
turns
them in
out the
every-
person they had to try and get in the end was Principal Rooney.
Yeah.
Who turned out to be a raging
Huge
pedophile.
stack of child pornography he got found with.
That's
Oh,
in
really?
real life, not
Yeah,
in
the
the
actor.
film.
Yeah, that's not in the movie.
Oh yeah. That would make it like not. The,
Also, he looks
the movie
exactly
that
like
we're
the
led to
kind of
believe.
guy who would turn out to be a child porn
Yeah.
enthusiast.
Yeah,
That
I think
moustache.
pedophile is what the
A
word you were looking for
a
there was.
17-year-old boy, I believe it was.
Really?
Coerced into a nude photo shoot.
Sure.
My lord,
That's inappropriate in my opinion.
Yeah.
I got to
So
come
what
down
else?
against that.
What's one of
I'd like
the-
to come out against that.
Yeah.
So say he's in the big red car. He's on his day off. Where's he go? What's he do?
I want to say.
I'm loving this structure of the episode.
I want to say the zoo.
Oh, I don't think he
No.
does.
They don't go to
No.
the zoo.
He goes to a restaurant.
They
He
do
does
go to a restaurant.
They go to a
They have a
restaurant.
big meal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're such a fucking moron.
He just thinks it's my dinner with Andre after.
yeah.
Just like, and then they talk about ennui.
Yeah.
Fuck, kill me.
Socrates and Plato
This
came
is
up.
Sartre.
This is maybe the only structured episode we've had where we have a clear arc where it's like get Dan to figure out what happened.
Yeah,
You should call it Ferris Bueller for Dummies.
Yeah.
We should just have you on every episode being like, Dan, what did you watch the movie this week? Oh yeah. What happened in it? Oh, it was a cheeky chappy.
I reckon I've seen it.
You reckon you've
I
seen
reckon
it?
I've seen it.
I reckon you have too.
I reckon I hated it so much that nothing comes to mind.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well,
That's why you've blocked out
I mean,
seemingly the
'cause-
most famous set piece.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, when you say set, but you just mean part of the.
yeah, but
Yeah.
like it's a constructed so it's like a set piece in a film. I don't know how to explain what that is.
Yeah.
Like a.
Like the way that the battle for New York is a set piece of the Avengers.
Yeah, like it sets.
Ah,
It's
right.
all set up to build to this point.
Oh, you mean it's a pivotal point.
Sort of, but
I
it's
thought
like
you
something
meant-
happens. They do a particular activity and it's the scene of this
It
activity.
doesn't always have to be pivotal for the story.
Okay,
Sometimes
so
it's
like,
just like a big
they-
act.
yes.
The pod racing scene in
It's
Phantom
almost like
Menace is
right-
a set piece because it's like, oh, we've set up that there's a pod racing.
It's almost
scene.
like a sketch within a movie. Or
yeah,
something
it's like a
that.
part of the movie that stands alone almost.
He has sunglasses on.
He does at
Yeah.
one point
During
have
the
Classic
sunglasses
Ferris
on.
Bueller's
I
set
think he's
piece.
dancing with sunglasses on at some point.
Yeah, you were getting
you're
there.
close.
We're
You
getting
go
there.
like that, like
Yeah, you
Yeah,
get
yeah.
there.
they can't hear my dancing, but
Yeah, but it looks a treat.
Yeah.
This is going to be killing the listener. He does a musical number. He does a lip sync with "Twist and Shout" by the Beatles.
That's it.
Yes.
And that I found that upsetting.
As part of a parade.
What did you find so upsetting about it?
just I don't know. It was just like, what's going on here? Like,
It's a man expressing joy, having mirth,
it just
feeling good.
yeah.
Well, he's
it-
trying to show his uptight friend Cameron that like they're having a good day because he's taken him to the baseball and to a nice restaurant, and he says, "Aren't we having a good day?" And Cameron's like,
They
"I
go to
don't
the top.
feel any
They go to an art gallery.
Yeah.
They go to the top of the Empire State Building.
No, it's
I-
Sears Tower.
What do you mean he
Really?
doesn't feel any pleasure? What does that mean?
Well, Cameron says they ask Cameron, "Are you having a good day? We've done all this stuff," and he says, "No, I haven't. Nothing's been that good so far. He hasn't felt any pleasure."
Does he have anhedonia?
It sounds like
Yeah,
he might,
yeah.
I think he's
He's
depressed.
also just
'cause his-
scared of his dad.
Yeah, I think his dad beats the shit out
This
of
is
him.
pre-Prozac.
Have you been to that
Pre-9/11.
the Art Institute of Chicago or whatever?
No, but I've been to the tower. It's
Right.
Sears Tower. I think it's called the Willis Tower now.
It was called the Willis Tower when I went, but I went there and I tried to recreate the picture thing in photos.
Wait, so this movie's
It's a
set
bit
in
of a laugh.
Chicago?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a love letter to Chicago. Oh, we got 2 Dan Raths on the podcast now?
I thought it was in New York.
Did I cast Asperger's?
Hang on, I'm starting.
Stop bullying Hastings.
yeah.
I'm starting to
I think
connect
it's
a few
becoming
things.
more like
Principal Rooney, Chicago, Del Close is in it.
Yeah.
Who's Del Close?
He's who is Del Close in the movie?
Oh,
or
that's
who is
the.
Del
Oh, you were
Close?
telling me that's the
Yeah.
improv.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
like one of the fathers of.
Who is he
modern
in the
improv.
movie?
He's the book teacher that tells that like insanely boring.
Who looks like
Oh,
a fucking
yeah.
droopy
Oh,
dog.
Yeah.
I thought that was Ben Stein.
No.
Well, maybe it is.
Ben Stein is the economics teacher. Del Close is the English
Yeah,
teacher.
Ben Stein
Which
is an
is-
actual
what's
economist.
what? And what does Del Close look like?
Speechwriter-
I'm gonna click
speechwriter
yes.
for Nixon.
Keep talking.
I feel like you should bully Hastings now because he's doing.
Yeah, because he's trying to get
And
one
he's
on
seen
you.
it, and you liked it.
I didn't
You
like.
idiot.
I didn't like it. I never said I liked
Oh,
it.
I thought you
okay,
loved it,
I
but
get
did-
it.
No, I
But
quite.
you said the Empire State Building was in it.
Yeah.
That seems.
Well, because it's set in Chicago. I thought it was set in New York. They just say
Ah.
it's like a tall building. I got
Did
I
you
got
know the
confused.
Matrix was set in Sydney?
Do you know the Matrix was set on Earth?
Home
'Cause
and
it's
Away
real,
star
dude.
Ada
It's real, dude.
Nicodemo is in like one of the first scenes.
Yeah.
What was that? Finding Nemo was in it. What?
Finding Nemo was in.
Yeah, he's down at the Sydney Aquarium.
Muriel's wedding.
I love Nemo.
Oh, that's where they threw Jeff Rush.
No,
in.
Ada Nicodemo from Home and Away was in
Ah,
one of the first
She's the
scenes.
White Rabbit.
Yeah.
She's not a White Rabbit.
So
she has a tattoo of the.
She
White
went from Heartbreak High to Home and Away to
The Matrix,
The
and then
Matrix.
back to Home and Away.
And then back to
And
Finding
then to
Nemo.
doing commercials for HelloFresh, who I may or
Really?
may not work for.
Yeah, man, I love.
now she's a roofer. She fixes roofs.
So the core dynamic in the movie, Dan. Fuck me.
Oh man, people are either going to find this the best podcast or the worst.
I agree.
It's a real Dan Rath vibe.
I fucked everyone's shit up.
It could either be people are like, this is the funniest shit either, or just like, I feel nothing.
Where does that guy live? I want to send a pine bomb.
Andrew again. This next clip is from Basketball with Alex J, one of our favorite guests again. Hope you guys are doing good out there. We'll be back next week. Follow me on Twitter, do all that shit.
I genuinely think it might be from watching a wet T-shirt match in WWE in 2002. I genuinely think that's where it comes from.
Oh,
Do you know the exact one you're thinking of?
Trish Stratus vs. Lita. It was on an episode of Raw. The match didn't actually end up going ahead
I
because
knew.
there was interference before. So Lita did it, and then when Trish was about to get her shirt wet, whoever the heel was at the time, it's probably Ivory or maybe Victoria. I don't know. She came and interfered to prevent Trish's shirt getting wet. So it's like, ooh, what a villain. Stopping the fellas from seeing them titties.
You sorry you asked?
I am just getting flashbacks of my high school ex right now.
Yeah, I get that a lot.
Yeah. Literally feel like I'm 17 again in his living room. Pretending to care about The Undertaker.
See, the thing is, this guy went to WCW.
Right.
I know what clotheslining is, don't worry.
You remind me of my high school. Like, I've heard that more than once.
You know what
He's a
I
great
like
guy, by
about
the way.
this
We're still
is, despite it being quite a silly and crude movie, a lot of the times is they manage to get like genuine sportscasters in to come and play those roles.
Yeah, Bob Costas
Like
and Al
Bob-
Michaels.
Yeah.
See, I miss all that because I don't like sports at all, and I've never been interested in anything surrounding them, even movies. But this is like the one sports movie I can fully get behind
Because it's like so
because it's
far
not
from
real.
sports.
So I didn't pick up on that. I didn't know all that kind of
They're
stuff.
actually like
Hey-
genuine
hey guys-
sports.
Well, the guys who's like, feel my nipples, like
Yeah,
that guy.
yeah.
Well, the idea that Al Michaels is
Well,
secretly a
speaking
sex
of that-
pervert for young girls.
That's a
is
good
quite
pod
funny.
update.
Because I didn't really get that as a kid. His line, what does he say? Like, and
It's
just
like,
5 years
years
ago,
ago.
they were just in grade school.
Yeah.
Like, just back then, I'm like, yeah, because they're young. Now I wanted to vomit. So funny.
Hey guys, live update.
What's up?
A girl I hooked up with a couple weeks ago, she just sent me a text, and all it says are the words, "I heard your podcast."
That happened right now? Oh my God.
Have we mentioned her on the pod before?
Yeah.
I'm sure. Oh, dear.
Did you
You
mention
remember the other week
by
where I
name?
had sex with a girl and then came and do the podcast?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, when you got stoned?
Yep.
Yeah.
Supposed to be seeing her again this week. That might be about to
Let's
get
see what
called off.
happens there.
stereotypical nerd. It's so flat.
The explanation is I get it chemically straightened, which means I have to keep it as flat and dry as possible for 3 days so it like sticks to my skull.
But why?
Why do I get it chemically straightened?
Yeah.
Because I can't have an afro, man. I can't go back to that
But your
life.
hair is bushy already, and that's
yeah,
fine.
no, but
Can't
when
they
it's
just keep
naturally,
it
it's like
that?
if I don't do the chemical straightening, it's like tight curls and like it grows out.
I was talking
I would
about
look
this
ridiculous.
with Kiri, and he was like,
But keep in mind that
You hold on, you and Kiri were talking about my hair.
yeah, because I was telling him of the thing, and he goes, why is a grown man spending 3 hours getting his hair chemically straightened?
Wait, well, hold on. What's he? Grown men should only be interested in industry, capitalism, and investment. Like he was such
Exactly.
Is that what he thinks a man is? He thinks that's what it is to be a man.
Yes. And he's right. That's why Rose quit. She's a socialist.
Wait, so if I'm a socialist, I have to.
You have to have straight hair, I guess. I don't know what
Man,
the point is.
this is.
But
true
my thing
cultural
about this is,
Marxism.
my thing is that like you're 28. Like, at
Yeah.
what age are you gonna like be like, okay, this is starting to look like that photo on Tumblr of the emo dad?
The emo dad. Chris Angel is my perpetual fear.
Well, that's what I was saying to Chris. I was like, how long when Andy's 42 and he has, well, one legitimate kid, probably 5 or 6 out of wedlock. But they're like, Dad, why do you have a tattoo of an avocado with a knife through it? And he's just like, I don't know, I'm a fucking loser. That's why maybe. Yvette, shut this little brat up. I'm going to smoke a doob and go to an open mic. Try out some new material. I'm 47.
Oh, man.
I already told Amy that. I said to her, if I'm
Is there
still...
a question in there, or is that just a
No, that's just
extended
a body slam, baby. Wrestling.
Yeah, they say you only roast the ones you love. Like sometimes we make an exception.
Not me. I love Andy so much.
Oh, man.
he's my best friend.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I'm glad to see, just the people who are interested
But
in what
also,
I've
we
been up
love
to.
Rose as well. So.
Yeah. No, I don't know, man.
But you
We'll-
can't roast me because otherwise you go to jail for hate crime.
That's
No,
true.
you dirty liberal pinko.
Love that loophole.
Yeah, no, I
fine.
think
We got to find a way to get around this somehow. just like put a strap on you and be like, fair game.
Well, there's one in my room.
All right, let's take turns wearing it and take photos for the podcast.
I'm okay.
And then let's fuck each other with it as well. That'll bring us together closer as podcast hosts. 2 guys with penises but wearing the strap on because...
I've done it. I've tried it. I've tucked everything back and had a go.
How big's the strap on compared to the dong?
Yeah, good question.
It's maybe like a little bit smaller than the dong.
So, like,
Man.
much bigger than mine or Andy's,
Yeah.
which is exactly the same size and has the freckle and exactly
Look,
the
I
same
can
place.
show you later.
We should get... You know how the other episode we were talking about Rose getting a mold of her dick? Well, what if we got molds of our dicks too, and then we just like...
Docked them.
No, like I was thinking like you could have the mold of my dick and you can put it up in your house, and I'll have the mold of your dick and put it up in my house. And that way it's like we're always together.
And even if I move country or something,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
removalist will be like, do you need to chuck
Yeah,
this out? And I'll
take
be
the
like,
mold
"You
of my
never
dick.
chuck this
You
out."
never...
I said the other day I was going to get mine made and then bronzed and then put it on the hood of my car.
That's pretty
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Carve in a Mercedes
Now I just got to
symbol
get a
into
car.
You know,
Put it on a fixed gear bike, or just put it on go get cars around.
Or just walk holding it in the air.
put on a
Like the
around the
Breakfast Club.
streets.
Just
put on a belt buckle. Put on some earrings.
well, if you put it on a belt
Oh,
buckle,
little-
that just
little-
is.
Put each testicle on an
If you
earring.
put it-
Scale model earrings would
If
be
you put
fun.
it on a belt buckle, that just is a strap-on dildo,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Unless it's going directly up, in which case you can't bend over anyway because it's poking you in your sternum.
Yeah.
That's true.
But I was saying to Amy,
I appreciate that you gave me that much length. This is all the way to the sternum.
yeah, I can't bend very far.
Hey, this is Tom Walker. You're about to listen to a clip of me on this podcast that you're already listening to. We'll just tell your mother we ate it all with my friends Rosie, Hastings, and Jamie Kirk. We're talking about Jackass, I believe. I've been asked to do this, and I'm more than happy to. I enjoy doing the podcast, and boy, do I miss watching movies with my friends. Anyway, hope you're good. Hope they're good. And I'm just going to send this to Jamie's email address, which is... And let me see that I get this right. jamie.kirk@gmail.com. So I'm going to send something over there, and why don't you send something over there too? All right. Ooh, actually, sorry. jamie.kirk_1@hotmail.com. Keeping himself humble. You love that. All right, bye. I saw Jackass live once.
Yeah, please tell us
Yes,
about
this
that.
is one of the reasons we wanted you to
Oh,
come on
really?
to this.
Because I'd almost forgotten this. But I paid the laudable sum of $69
Hell yeah.
for a
Yeah.
ticket.
Oh, fuck yes, go off, Ben.
To watch
Elon Musk set that price to impress Grimes.
to watch Jackass. The meet and greet was $10 extra, but it was not available by the time we bought our tickets.
I assume Johnny Knoxville
Would
was
you have
not
done
part
it if
of
it
this
was?
tour.
It was a reduced roster.
Oh, can I guess who they are?
Sure.
I reckon Steve-O is definitely part of it.
No.
Nah.
Fuck.
Steve-O
All right.
has a
think
career.
I think
yes,
I-
Wee Man.
Wee
We've
Man.
got Wee Man.
Wee Man was
Preston?
fronting it over.
Preston.
I know what it was because you told me before.
Pontius?
Yes, the long-haired man.
Yeah.
Yes, Pontius.
And Aaron McGeehee, I reckon.
No.
He might be out.
Try one more. One last guess.
Think along that line.
I'm trying to
Dave
think.
England?
Yeah.
Exactly.
He's
So
he's my favorite one.
Who was
Well,
the biggest
really?
star? Who got
Yeah.
who got the biggest reaction?
Wee Man, absolutely.
You think it was Wee Man, right?
Yeah, Wee Man closed out the night. But the night, to be fair, opened. It was around October last year, I guess. And the only reason I remember that is because they opened the show with Preston Lacey coming out in a Halloween mask for no reason. And then taking the mask off and proceeding to do 10 minutes of stand-up.
Yeah.
Which
Say the first joke because it's one of the best jokes I've heard.
Oh, at every opportunity. He comes
is
up
so
to the
exciting to
microphone. Preston Lacey begins with, I'm a big fan of S&M. Spaghetti and meatballs.
Man, that is.
It's so good.
And a
That's good
pall sits over the room as we realise what we've signed up for.
What?
It's at an RSL. We're all sitting at tables.
Yeah.
There's a
Shit.
mother, a father, and a daughter clearly sitting in front of us. I'm there with like Sam Campbell, Willie Remia, Henry Stone, and we're just watching this night unfold for them. They leave during Wee Man's set. Dave England does his set. He comes out holding a towel. Just a white, clearly hotel towel, puts it down on the stool, and then says, sorry, guys. I know I just came out here, but I'm going to have to leave because I have to do a shit.
Oh, no.
Oh, I'm sorry. I have to do a shit. And everyone's like, no.
Shit on the towel.
Well. Or I could do a shit right here.
Yeah.
What do you guys think? And everyone is like, yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
And he just puts he lays the towel out on the floor, squats over it, and proceeds to do the tiniest shit I've ever seen. He then folds the towel over and kicks it with his foot to the back of the stage. And then does 10 minutes of stand-up and stories.
So he opened right, and it was just going to stand up.
Yeah, he opened with it.
Yeah.
And now there's a
You
turd
at
at the
least-
back of the stage for an hour.
That's got to be your
close.
closer, yeah.
Yeah.
Is there any point where all of them are on stage together?
The very end, which is part of Wee Man's thing, where he gets two women up on stage.
Sure.
And then
Yeah.
says,
I like where this is going.
oh, okay, here's my theory. There are 3 types of areola.
Oh, God.
And then he pressures them into showing their breasts. One girl took up her shirt but left her bra on.
Why
It was
didn't we
clearly
go to this?
clearly not into it.
Yeah.
And then Wee Man was like, "No, you have to do it. Come on!" And got the other girl to take off her bra and make her flash this audience of Jackass fans. By the way, throughout this entire show,
How many women were there in the audience?
enough that finding 2 to get up on stage took a while.
Yeah.
Throughout this entire show, the soundtrack to it was coming from just behind us, not from a speaker, but from the assisted breathing apparatus attached to a man who was sitting in a giant motorized wheelchair. Wearing a tour shirt. It was just it was a real dark time.
How did we not go to this?
Yeah, I'm upset that we didn't.
Yeah,
Probably the price tag would have stopped me.
Yeah, $69 and getting out to Chatswood RSL. It was not a great time.
You should
You just said earlier today that someone as a birthday gift gave you a calculator and lube.
Yeah. Yeah, that was very disrespectful. And, I still
And they saw the rotten end of your hammer.
I harbour a grudge of that.
You should do that trick in your shows, and maybe you would have won the award.
Do a bit of a trick.
Yeah.
Are you trying to bully Dan?
Yeah. That was a good one.
The emasculations are over. It's 2019. Now every time someone disrespects me, I assign it a numerical value out of 10. like from 1 to 10, and then I put it in an Excel spreadsheet. And then I add it up, and once it passes a numerical threshold, I launch a revenge fantasy.
Oh man!
And let me tell you, it involves hammers.
The best part of that is if you know Dan, it's obviously true.
Yeah.
Hello, babies. It's Alexi Toliopoulos, your dear friend here, wishing you a congratulations on your 2nd anniversary of this very, very funny podcast. Truly, I am honoring you right now. You are 3 of the funniest cunnies that I've ever met. Truly, 3 of my funniest friends. I love listening to you 3 riff together, and I have very, very fond memories of the last time that I was on this podcast, which I believe was a year ago on your 1st anniversary for one of my favorite movies of all time, the movie Superbad, and it inspired Jamie to tell to this very day one of the funniest freaking stories I've ever heard in my entire life, where he tells the story inspired by Superbad about an awkward encounter that he had in university during a tutorial. I think about it constantly. It is one of the funniest things I've ever heard. I'm not overstating that. I think about it maybe every 5 days or so and just burst out into tears laughing about the story. Oh my god, Jamie, you have to make that into a movie. If not, I'm going to steal it from you myself. Congratulations, gang. I can't wait till we can all hang out again. And I hope that it's at the Powerbomb Comedy Festival. You guys do so much amazing stuff for comedy. So it's a great achievement to be included in your 2nd anniversary episode. I love you very much. Stay safe and let's hang out soon. Not too soon. When we're allowed to hang out. I love you, like I said, but not enough to break restrictions and endanger myself and others and stuff. But I do love you and I do miss you. I will talk to you on the phone in the meantime. So, yeah. Love you, babies. Bye.
Michael Cera's performance in this movie is so fucking good and so funny. That moment when he gets trapped in the bedroom and he's trying to walk out, but then the guy shuts the door and he just slightly turns to the side and has to stay in the room. He could have just asked, like, "Oh, I'm on my way out."
Yeah.
Then, and then he gets forced to sing.
The singing is so funny.
It's so good. It's such a funny moment, and so it's very real because he's like, what's the bad thing that would happen if he said, "Oh, I'm not that guy's brother."
So no, it's not me. Can I get out of the room?
It's just like
I think he's worried that he'll get beaten up.
Yeah.
Or he's worried that it'll be embarrassing. I identify with that.
Oh, I don't have a pen either.
Yeah, I would have fucking sung for those guys.
Can I just sing my essay out loud, please?
That's so funny.
He acts where he accidentally touches her boob.
Yeah, that is great acting. The horror. Have you done that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I've done that.
Well, because you touch it, he actually punches her.
Yeah, it's like the sound effect on it is like, fuck, that sounds painful.
Yeah, yeah.
And her performance as well of like,
man.
she's
I've
like
got
taking
these,
it back.
Lady tits now.
I got man tits as well, so
but
I can relate.
But it's different because like lying on these is painful.
Yeah.
Like pushing against them.
I've been punching the man titty, and I'm like, I know, I feel ya, feel that lady. I was empathizing the wrong side of the moment in that scene.
Hey, Jamie, when you wrote this essay, how long was it?
It was about like a page and a half.
And you didn't realize like 4... Like you didn't realize 4 words in that this plan wasn't going to work. It's so immediately clear that this plan won't work.
What was the thought?
Like just don't bother writing anything. It's so much less embarrassing to just go.
What
I didn't
was
have a pen,
going through
sorry.
your head?
I didn't write anything.
When you had run out of page,
Rather than just not write
and
anything.
had to move on to the second page.
Well, it sounds silly when you guys say it, but you weren't there.
Like the look.
I answered the question, Jamie. What was going
the
through
look
your...
on your face as you like fold one bit over and
Better proceed with this plan.
When I finished the first page, honestly, I was like, wow, I can't believe I did this for a whole page. That's pretty cool.
Could you see
So
the
now you've got to
indentation?
like
You can see the indentation, yeah.
Was there any like? I need to
You
know.
could probably read it.
But was it like the pen is not working fully, but there is some shit coming out?
No. It's completely dead.
Purely,
You may as well have done it with a stick.
It's all it's all
It might as well
indentation.
be on.
It's all indentation.
I may as well just like put my fingernails into it and scratched into it.
I considered that.
Oh,
How did you not? Because just not writing anything at all, and then you're going, sorry, this is embarrassing, but I didn't write anything. I haven't got a pen. That's so much less embarrassing than going, try read this. Like, it's so fuck,
what did the guy that swapped with you? What was their immediate reaction? Because there's no way you've forgotten that moment.
He was
The moment you revealed to someone else.
Deeply burnt into the brain.
he was pretty confused.
Oh, what is this shit? Do I have to shine a UV light on it? Like, is this invisible ink or
No,
some
'cause
shit?
he asked. Okay,
This is uni, man. It's not fucking primary school.
I
You can't bring a little spyware gift
I
shit
s-
in here.
I swear this is how it happens. Like, I know that you say I should have had it like ingrained, but like I can't quite remember. But I think what happened was that he looked at
You've
it.
repressed the memory.
Yeah. He looked at
But
it.
that's why we're getting at him to dig it
Yeah,
out.
I think so.
I want to get out you right now and like spin this little teacup, just like unlock the fucking memory. I got to know every detail.
So I think he looked at it, looked at me, and then said, "What is this?" And I said to him, "That's
Fair question.
And I said to him, "That's my essay. You might need to look a little hard to read it."
Did you tell him why?
Well, he said, "What happened?"
Right.
And I said, "My pen ran out of ink, and the
Start
thing
of the
started,
essay, yeah.
and I didn't want to bother people, and I didn't know what to do." And that was when he said, "I have a pen."
Like you could have just.
Did
asked
you
me
then
for a
quickly
pen.
like, I'm going to run it across the indentation to try
Yeah,
and...
that's what I was. I was like, man, you could probably do it.
Yeah.
Like,
No, at that point, he kind of like looked at me and was like, "I'll cover for you," and just like chose not to.
He
read
just
it.
freestyled
Oh right,
reading
so he
your
opted
essay
out because I
loud.
thought the next part was just going to be that he was immediately summoned.
Oh, miss, yeah.
No, he would have been. He would have like it would have been bad for him to fucking have to read the indent essay.
Do you know what would have been amazing?
But he could have
if-
thrown you under the bus massively and been like, "Well, I can't fucking read this because idiot here wrote it in chicken scratch."
He couldn't. Thankfully, he didn't.
The
At
way
least he wouldn't have
could've-
known your name because you know.
It's uni.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
no, and because
No one knows.
it was just written there.
But the only way it could come around is if you had a pencil and just shaded over the whole thing. Then
I mean, he
indentation-
could have done that.
oh
that
yeah,
would be
that's a good idea. Yeah.
That's some freaking film noir shit. dude.
Yeah,
Yeah.
could have used you 13 years
Yeah,
ago. Like.
dude, if it was, I could have whispered in your ear like,
Well, you
I'll
could
learn
have just
this on
asked
the
to
Big
borrow a
Lebowski.
fucking pen. Like you
I
could have.
was nervous.
yes, I understand. He was 20 years old. It's hard. It's hard out there
It
talking to people after 2
sounds
decades
so
of doing
much
it.
sadder when 3 people tell it back to me.
Jamie,
Oh,
honestly,
man.
this is one of the greatest gifts of my life.
Yeah.
It's really funny.
Honestly.
It's really
I'm
good.
so glad that you saved this for the 1 year
Episode
anniversary.
52.
I'll
baby.
never stop thinking about it. I'll
Yeah.
never be able to.
I
not
mean, I don't
about
think we
it.
could do much of a deeper dive on it. I think that's what happened. I don't remember the rest of the class ever finding out. Although that being
so
said,
your guy-
did you
well, that
see
being
the
said, my
lens?
friend, no, the guy who
Okay.
did it with me is not Jordan. So he must have told someone.
Yeah.
Did you feel?
Oh no, the
horrible
guy
for
kept it
rest
to
of the day?
himself.
Yeah. Then like,
Did you think it was funny?
well, I mean, yeah, not at the time.
Yeah, that's what I'm
But,
asking
like,
about at the time.
A little bit at the time, I was like, I can't believe I'm
Yeah.
doing this.
I
Like,
can't wait to. Be
there was like a
stand-up to
point
talk about
where I
this.
was like a quarter way through the first page. I was like, you should have just fucking asked for a pen.
Mm.
But that's why I kept going because I've like now been writing for 15 minutes. I've done a whole quarter of a page of this. If I
God.
pop up and say I was not writing the entire time, I'll look so
No, but
stupid.
then at
Yeah,
that
then
point-
you'll look stupid. That's the point.
Sorry,
I thought I could finesse
But
it.
then you did it like my pen ran out of ink.
Yeah,
And
that's
then
good.
it's like, oh, it doesn't matter. Like, then they're like, oh, don't worry, just keep scratching it in.
Like a fucking serial killer.
Keep scratching it in. I'd love to just braille it out later and see what we could do.
mean,
If fun
what-
activity with the whole class to bond over bullying this weird boy.
What would you have done if you were in that situation, but it was like a test that you had to hand in?
Oh, good heavens.
Oh, good question.
Because
I probably would have handed it in.
yeah.
So you wouldn't have asked for a pen again?
I probably would have handed it in and explained to the teacher what happened.
There'd been
and then she'd probably think I was disabled.
Absolutely. I'm not convinced you're not.
But I appreciate your honesty because there's no way that that's not the truth. What you just said, like, there's no way that you would have asked for a pen under any circumstances.
No, I honestly don't think there is. What I would have done is I would have handed it in. If it was a hand-in assignment, I can tell you 100%. I would have handed it in. I would have waited for every single student to leave.
Mm-hmm.
Then I would have approached the teacher very quietly and explained what had happened and asked if I could make it up and hand it in afterwards.
Yeah.
And then hope that they saw some gentle good humor. In
I
it,
think
maybe.
that would have been wise, but sorry, Jamie. I don't even know. I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say.
Everyone
anymore.
gets anxious.
Everyone gets anxious.
Yeah.
Yes, I've been anxious. Hastings is
Not me, dude. I'm a fucking rock. He then threw up at the prospect of that, though.
But no, he was drunk, dude.
You can smell her cologne.
But then at the end, happy endings.
Yeah.
Squeak and her, it was never gross.
Yeah.
So do you think in canon...
I mean, the joke is that he...
Yeah, of course.
wound up with her,
that one's in defense. I do think though when he's bending, when Trey Parker's bending over and it's come on, and then the gay dude walks past him and he suddenly props up. Really,
That's
it's that's funny still.
Yeah, man, good
you
jokes.
can't do it.
You
And
can't.
the How to Speak San Francisco.
The idea of jokes being good despite current that's a whole other pod. You know what I mean? There's not. That's a whole.
It's the junkie
thing.
podcast.
Yeah. Which I would love to. I would love to be on this podcast. I do a podcast where I say vaguely woke sounding things that are actually nonsense to justify me loving ironic racism.
You can't though. You're a double agent. Oh no, that's just for
Exactly.
the patriarchy.
This is exactly what I'm talking about. That would be me being.
That's
a double
you
agent.
exhibiting.
Me using the words of.
That
feminist.
is what you and Sanderson do.
Yeah, maybe she's got a point.
She's right.
Yeah, I'm a double agent for the patriarchy.
Oh,
Look,
no.
if fucking makes me, whatever. I don't care. I can't be bothered having this argument.
Fucking makes me work.
No, but what I was going to say with the gay stuff and the trade. So in the canon of the universe of basketball, Squeak sucks a dick. That's how that ends. How does what happens?
Well,
How do we know?
We don't
She
know.
could
That's what I'm
be.
saying.
She could be post-op.
Yeah,
That's true.
or it could be a woman.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
just
Just be
don't know.
Just 'cause you have
an
a penis
ugly
doesn't make
woman.
you not a woman, Jamie. Okay.
Fuck.
could be-
How do I respond
it
to
could
this?
be a cis woman.
Clementine Ford. Junkie. Fuck. Consent. Yeah. See, I've got them all.
There
I
you
know
go.
what I'm
You hit
doing.
them all. Everything's okay.
I hit all three things. I'm still a feminist. I said the three magic words.
Man, they should use me in university as an example of just because you know the right things doesn't mean you're doing the right things.
That doesn't just.
Actually, just because you're the maker, and I'm actively harassing women online while I'm doing
That
it.
doesn't have to
In
just.
one hand, Mike in the other being woke.
That doesn't have to just apply for feminism for you either. It's just anything.
Yeah, it could be any of the isms.
Even though that he knows
Confused
bucket
morality
hats
of
are
Andrew
stupid. That should be the title of your next show, dude.
I'm gonna call it cum dumpster.
Oh, God. The next title of my show, I pitched it to Ben Caution the other day. It's really long. I think it's quite good. It's called I'm 26, but I've discovered that being an adult and all the responsibilities that come with it are not quite as fun as being young and not having any responsibilities. Remember the 90s? Doug was a good show. How about having a Milo and then playing PlayStation 1? That was also pretty cool. Now I work at a bank and have to do laundry, and I wish I was just playing with my Beyblades. That's a good
the
title for a show, right?
And also the entire content of the show, right?
I'm just so excited to walk on stage and say welcome and then do that, and then lose my breath for 20 minutes. Kind of like when Mitch Garling did that dance during his Fringe show.
Oh, no, really?
Hello, it's Andy welcoming you to part 2 of the We'll Just Tell You Mother We Ate It All Best Of. This next clip is from one of our absolute favourite guests, Tom Walker, came back to talk about the film Jackass 1, one of the best Thanks, dudes.
I was on the cocaine subreddit a little while back, and it is
/ cocaine.
Man, yeah, it
Fuck,
is
I checked this out.
so dire. It's all people posting just photos of lines of cocaine on different surfaces and going like, "Oh, this is my Saturday," and then be like, "Anyone want to chat?" Like, no one's doing it. All these people are doing it alone,
Man,
looking
it's
for
so
people
cool.
to talk to online.
If you find yourself on cocaine on the cocaine subreddit, looking for someone to talk to because you're on cocaine, I mean, at that point, just kill yourself. At that point,
It's
really
dire.
or stop using cocaine at least. Like
The fact that
there's so
cocaine
many-
has a subreddit is amazing.
everything has a
Yeah,
subreddit.
but-
like-
Yeah. Oh, I love
I used
it.
to visit like ecstasy forums a lot because that was where you'd get information on like where the bad pills were. Like, it'd be like, oh, okay, I've got it. It's green. It's got pink flecks, and it's got a Mitsubishi.
What's this guy
logo
talking
on it.
about? Fiona from Shrek? Princess Fiona from the Shrek franchise?
Save it for the
I
other
mean,
podcast.
like
I don't know.
during mid-transformation? Is that what this guy's talking about?
Dude, you can't say that on this podcast, dude.
Yeah,
Not
anyway, so
horny.
yeah, so yeah, because they were pretty like the way people would talk about MDMA on those were pretty funny.
Yeah.
Just a lot of just like, yeah, no, so I've had 3. I'm not feeling so good 2 days later. Any ideas how I could cheer up? It's like, you have serotonin poisoning, man. You've got to just like, man, just lie in bed and eat some fruit. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I read a bunch of like meth forums, and those
Yeah.
are dark.
Oh,
Those
that
are
would not
fucking
be pleasant.
not fun. People asking for tips.
Yeah.
A lot of people posting like, "Hey guys, I've been kicking around this idea for a while. Should I try some meth?" And just a bunch of people be like, "No, trust me, I did it. Don't do it. You'll think you're in control, but you're not." And then like 5 days later, the OP posts again, being like, "All right, well, I took my maiden voyage. Things are looking great." Oh, no. Please, you can't make it this obvious.
It's a running thing with the internet I've noticed is that certain types of personalities, they seem to, because they found solace in the internet for other things, they start seeming to think that the internet can give them answers to any problem or solve any sort of solution.
Yeah.
Like, Paige Halley one time was telling me that she refuses to see a doctor without, or like a doctor or a psychiatrist or anything like that, without extensively researching it online. And so it's like, man, maybe sometimes you just got to solve this in the real world. Like, she's just found that her solutions come from the internet.
I think that researching a doctor online, though, is pretty okay. Like, because
Yeah, I suppose that's true. But it's
There's-
the way she was talking about it was very much like you think that the answer for everything is online. Like,
Yeah, right.
yeah.
Like
whatever.
I don't know. I've just got another thing in my, because, and this comes back to my podcast with my beautiful partner Demi Lardner. We like, my thing is that I try and find fucked websites and little communities of people, and one of the communities I found was guys who are very like self-conscious about their dick size and are trying to get them bigger. And a
Excellent.
bunch of them went to this one doctor who would install a
Install's
surgically
the word you want to hear around a penis.
a surgically inserted like silicone, picture a half pipe
Heaven is
around
a half
either
pipe.
yeah, well, in this case it brings heaven to your wife. But and then they would all like post about them 3 months later being like, I got a massively infected dick.
Oh, no.
The edges on the implant started to show around it, and then I've had it removed. I've lost 90% of the feeling in my dick, and it's smaller than before.
That's great.
The cruelest irony of them all.
Across the board, they lost an inch of erect length from the length that they were displeased with before.
That's incredible.
Icarus. Poor Icarus.
So I'm saying, if you're looking for a procedure like that,
Yeah.
Google the doctor.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Hey, it's Elliot J. O'Neill here, wishing a very happy 2-year podiversary to Rose, Jamie, and Andy. I love your podcast so much, and I'm really grateful that you are all guests on my podcast, The Simpsons Index, and here's one of my favorite clips from that episode where Andy tries to turn my show into the Sesame Street Index. All right, everybody, take care. Peace.
You're
Right.
absolutely right. That there are Bert and Ernie sketches that I still think are really funny. Just
Yeah,
'cause
yeah,
I
yeah,
had the- genuinely, like,
'Cause they
hilarious.
are.
They're really funny. I just had this particular tape when I was a kid, and I still remember. There's one of like Bert and a pigeon playing checkers. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
So- but yeah, it's this great sketch. I'll tell you what happens very quickly. It's a great sketch where Bert's describing
It's
a
weird
Bert
of
and
it.
Ernie sketch.
It's also weird of it to think it is a sketch.
It is a sketch.
Yeah, it was written by Bob Odenkirk, I believe.
Yeah.
So Bert's playing
Contributions from Jay Johnston.
Bert's playing checkers against a pigeon. Ernie comes in, he's like, "Oh well, Bert, you're playing," and he's very impressed. And Bert's like, "Yeah, whatever, I don't care." He's like, "No, this is crazy. How can't you be more excited? This is a pigeon playing checkers. It must be the smartest bird in the world." And then Bert goes, "Well, she's actually not that smart." And he's like, "What do you mean?" She goes, "Well, we played 5 times. She's only beaten me twice."
That's good.
But like a kid, that's very funny.
Yeah, that's a good joke.
Yeah. I'm a big Bert and Ernie fan. What can I say?
So yeah, check out comedy sketch show Sesame Street.
Yeah,
It's the official recommendation here.
It was the video it was on. It was the Best of Ernie and Bert DVD. I remember that it's called that because I always called them Ernie and Bert, not Bert and Ernie,
Yeah.
because
Bert
that's
and
what
Bernie.
my
Bert and
video
Bernie.
was called. But they are typically called Bert and Ernie.
Yeah.
But yeah, watch that. It's also got the
That's one for the fans.
That's what
Yeah,
Friends
yeah.
of Four song. It's got the one where they go to Egypt and they're in like a pyramid or whatever, and he sings the Rubber Ducky song because he's scared. It's great.
I'm learning so much about you.
Yeah.
This feels like you watched it recently.
I watched a couple of those sketches recently.
Yeah.
It's been a tough few months, guys.
Oh, look, when I'm feeling sad, I'll throw on some T the Tank Engine.
Why not?
Tea.
Yeah.
I gotta get back into Dragon Ball Z. Anyway, go on. Just thinking of shows that there's like a lot of that I can just watch endlessly.
So episodes we like to watch again. We think about what Simpsons playlist we'd like to put it in. So what episodes sort of remind you of this one? Share thematic elements.
I do like a Simpsons hidden talent collection. So
Yeah.
you do
Bart being a ballet dancer.
Yeah, Bart being a ballet dancer is a great one. You do
Lisa on Ice.
Lisa on Ice is a great one.
yeah.
Marge becoming a bodybuilder, maybe though. That's
Yeah.
a bit later.
Marge is the cop.
Yeah, Marge is a cop as well. I
Yeah.
was thinking.
Such a good episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah, I like your playlist. I'm taking that. In fact, it was my idea.
Okay.
I'll edit the podcast so it reflects that.
Oh, you don't need to make an edit. We
Yeah.
know who the alpha
Yeah.
is.
I'll do one where it's kind of like my favorite Bert and Ernie sketches.
Yeah. I also like Grover. Anyway,
Yeah, Grover's sick.
Grover's dope. He's Yoda, dude.
Yeah.
I've been on a real Star Wars kick lately. So
Oh, I
good.
know.
Yeah.
How'd you spend a lot of time around it.
Grover to Star Wars.
Yeah.
Yoda, my dude.
Oh, he was the original Yoda. Oh, okay,
Yeah,
sorry,
yeah,
I misheard you
yeah.
then.
Yes.
Baby
yes.
Grover.
Yeah, Baby Grover. Baby Grover's pretty good, but he's not cute. He's like fucked. It's like fucking disgusting.
He's just
Oh, but it
Shit.
looked like, when like a chicken is like white with that little black head.
Yeah. When the Mandalorian finds Baby Grover, he shoots him on sight.
It's a one-part
Guys,
series.
This is a crime against
Man,
nature.
The boy ain't right.
Gross.
The boy ain't right. Mandalorian is Hank Hill.
This is the way.
I sell bounty hunting and bounty hunting accessories.
Sick.
Do you think that because I have 2 Berts, I'm the luckiest Ernie in the world?
Yes.
They're my Berts. These 2, they're my Berts.
More of a Betty, I hope.
I got girl Bert and boy Bert. I also have a wife. She's not really a Bert, though. She's more of a Snuffleupagus or a big bird. I don't really know what that means.
Yeah, well, Snuffleupagus implying that she's like imaginary.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. I forgot he's imaginary.
Only you can see her.
Yvette's real, right? My wife's a real person.
I don't know.
Shit.
I remember when we went to that big solo party you threw.
The best man at my 29th birthday.
Yeah.
Celebrants just go along with it.
He's not right. He keeps talking about Ernie
Sign
and Bert.
the papers, Andrew.
Man, so funny that I'm married.
It's truly bizarre.
I know. Oh man, Yvette walked in on me watching gay porn the other day. Whatever. She thought it was pretty funny.
It's all right. She's not real.
Yeah.
No one walked in on you. You were just watching gay porn. And you were like, oh, this is a bit embarrassing.
The being walked in on is your subconscious being like, you should be ashamed of this.
Well, I'd
Andrew.
also already I was done jacking off. I just left her running by accident. I went to the bathroom to
and
clean
by that
up.
point, you become invested in the storyline.
I went to the
I
bathroom.
hope these 2 gents get it together.
I went to the bathroom to clean
They
up.
really seem to love each other.
Hello, gentle listener. It's Jamie again. Our time together is almost at an end. However, we've got a great clip to go out on. This is from our American Beauty episode, where I come up with the title of our Melbourne Comedy Festival show, Fartin' and Rootin'. I mean, this episode is probably made even funnier by the fact that Melbourne Comedy Festival and live stand-up comedy has collapsed as we know it. So, if it comes back, please, chuck some artists some money. Go see some shows. That'd be nice. Listen to our podcast. Recommend it to people. I've had a great time putting these clips together, and I've had a great time doing the show. Enjoy the clip.
Alison Janney.
Oh, baby.
Underutilized. She's
I love
so
Alison
good.
Janney. She's such a fucking good actress.
Oh, she's so good.
Man, what a goddess. She's so tall as well.
And so
what did you? Which word did you just use to describe her?
I said goddess. In
Oh
fact.
yeah, you mean like that show at the Melbourne International Comedy Festival starring Rose Piper, March 26th to April 19?
Yeah, I heard about that.
In the Metro.
I heard that show was happening.
Oh, I thought Goddess was a Cassie Workman show for
That's Giant.
It was
Test.
Giant.
Yeah, that's not a completely crazy. Like,
Yeah, I realized that like after I'd already submitted everything.
I just made the
was like,
connection.
oh god damn it! Like,
Just then. I think you're fine. I think that's totally
Yeah, I don't
fine.
think it's a big
but it's
deal.
the year after as well.
Also, like, comedically, the only thing you and Cassie have in common is that you're both trans. Like,
Yes.
you are so
Does
different.
Cassie
Oh
get
yeah,
those
yeah, we're very, very far from each other.
Do you know the optics on whether Cassie gets to run as best newcomer because she's now Cassie and not Michael?
That's
Absolutely
not the
not.
correct
But also,
response.
she just did it, and she got nominated for the top award.
She's
Yeah,
won
yeah.
Best Newcomer already. Like,
Yeah, I know,
Yeah.
but like,
Yeah.
could you do it again?
No, it's the same, like,
it's the same person.
it's like the same Medicare number. You know what I mean? Like, you're the
Yeah,
same
yeah.
person. You just got a name change. You know
Yeah,
what I
but
mean?
some people
They have those things about like doing Raw and like being in a double act
Yeah.
and shit.
There's some
Like,
spreadsheet that exists in some government database, and you have the same unique identifying number. You know what I mean?
Sure, but like, say-
well, I'm judging Raw again in a couple of days.
I'm not like trying to make a point about like wokeness or trans things either way. I'm just
I
saying
think you
that. Okay, here we go. No, I'm saying that like
Say it directly into my face.
Well, what I'm saying is that if I was trans, right?
Yes.
And I'd written my show.
Man, if you were trans, Jamie, things would be a little different.
I think it'd sound a little something
like this.
No, so like if I was trans and I'd written this show that I was, say, immensely proud of about my coming out and whatever, I'd been working on the scene for the same amount of time I had, and then like I've done.
This is pretty similar to me so far.
Yeah, but like, but the main difference being like I've done, say, like Melbourne before as a solo run, but like as a bloke, just being like Jamie Kirk's in Fartin' and Rootin', and then like,
Oh, I would see that show.
well, it's coming.
Hell yeah.
But like Jamie Kirk's in Fartin' and Rootin', and I'm just kind of like, well, that's not who I am, who I was, but I don't have I don't have a profile. So like, if my amazing trans show, like, it's not going to go near the Melbourne International Comedy Festival Award because that's going to be full of like lifers and amazing acts and people that have been doing it and been doing it on the radar. Why am I denied Best Newcomer for what essentially to me is a newcomer show?
Yeah.
Because I'm abandoning my old
So
persona.
what
You
you're
could
asking?
probably present your case to them.
So
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
What you're asking isn't though, would Cassie automatically requalify? What you're asking for is if Cassie or you in this scenario put pressure on the festival, would they or just ask?
I agree. Like, but
I think if
that's different.
I
like,
think
going-
pressure's the wrong
When
word.
you apply for the show,
But
you
ask.
tick the little box that said this is my first solo show. So you can do that and then just put a little note and
But
be like,
but then,
hey,
but then if someone disagreed, like, so if Melbourne was like, no, sorry,
man,
can't
you
do-
nudge them and like they'll probably have to move for
Can
you.
I weigh in? Because
Sure.
I have a strong opinion on this. If I was someone also going for Best Newcomer that year,
fuck you.
absolute, like not even kidding, absolutely fuck you. Like,
Yeah, you'd be like,
so
Fartin'
unfair.
and Rootin' was bad.
I'd be like, sorry you didn't win with Fartin' and Rootin', dog. Like, I don't.
Man, I
Yeah, but you see, then
can't
I'd fucking-
believe Fartin' and Rootin' didn't win. I can't believe
But
it.
then I
That's
would
such an
probably,
advantage.
but then
You've already
wouldn't,
done
yeah, but then wouldn't I be within my rights to say that that's transphobic of you to say?
And I'd say, no, it's not. Shut up. Like, I don't know.
You'd say, shut up,
Yeah,
bitch.
just decide something's transphobic.
the eternal
Wait,
argument.
you don't think?
Shut up.
You don't think trans people get to decide that something's transphobic? You do, gatekeeper, white
Yeah,
male.
motherfucker.
I don't think one
That-
I'm
transphobic
of course
standing
he
here.
does.
enables
I'm
something
standing in front of you
automatically
as a
transphobic.
beautiful trans woman with my new trans hour after farting and rooting, and you're telling me
I
that
can't
you
wait to
think,
do my show
I'm
next
telling
year
you,
called
that's not your first Melbourne hour. That's all
But
I'm
it is
saying.
my first
No,
Melbourne.
it's not.
So I'm saying, like, if Melbourne Comedy Festival then pushed back on me and was like, sorry, it's not.
Well, it's easier for me to take a position than it is Melbourne.
Well, it's easier for you to take a position because then I'd just like go in like a chat and tell everyone to cancel you.
Yeah.
But like if I
think people would take my side.
I don't think anyone would take your
Well,
side.
you really think that if a trans person
I
is
think-
doing their second show, it should count as their first one?
If they wanted to.
I think in certain circumstances I can see why
I
they
can
would,
see the
obviously.
argument,
Like,
but I'm looking
like,
at it from
but
the
it's-
perspective of a competitor.
I think it's void because they haven't really had to deal with that yet. And like the
Yeah.
first case that they could have had to deal with it, they got nominated for the best show
Yeah.
instead of best newcomer anyway.
But it's crazy.
They've already won
And the
Best
only
Newcomer,
yeah,
which
and
is so
but the only reason they didn't win the
Yeah.
best show is because like one of the best shows I've ever seen was also on. Like
I
Farting
think
and Rootin' by Jamie.
yeah. That won the
I think-
MICF award last year, right?
because Best Newcomer is defined by like a lack of experience. Like it's not defined by your identity as a person. It's defined
Yeah,
by
but people who have
whether or
been-
not you've like if your skill level was reset, then sure. Like, but
But-
you've done the show. You can't
But
take
then
that back.
I no, because I would make the argument that my skill level was reset. Like not like I can still do stuff with the crowd, but I'm no
Oh.
longer doing farting and root. Like I can't be like I was at the pub with my mate Shitto and
See, that's the thing
I
though. Like,
wasn't doing-
I have transitioned and I'm still doing farting and rooting. you know?
yeah, but like I'm saying,
But now it's lady fart.
Well, I'm saying that, like, okay, so Farting and Rooting is the main title. The subtitle is A Bloke's Guide to Navigating the Murky Waters of Feminism, POCs, and all that nonsense. You know? So, like, don't attack me. That's just the name of the show. I'm a beautiful trans woman now. So I'm saying, like, my skill level, in a way, does reset because all I was doing before, it's not like Rose. I'm not like in Farting and Rootin', I'm not like Gardening Australia is my favorite show. Like a thing that can be done from both perspectives.
That joke does not feature in Goddess.
I'm talking about like specifically ones where it's like I'm fucking women. This is what it's like when I'm at the fucking urinal and stuff. And now I'm like, well,
So you're saying it's like your insecurity show that's totally masking everything that was actually going on.
absolutely,
original
that's what
one, yeah.
Farting and Rooting and the subtitle that I can't remember what I think it's called. But like I'm saying now that like I have made a conscious effort to, and not like a kind of like a
It's a redemption show.
but not like a festival comic. Like I throw everything out and go again. Like I throw everything out. Not because I want to test myself, but out of necessity. Like I'm not going to an open mic in a dress and doing farting and rooting.
I'm not questioning the legitimacy of the transness at all. I think I have the.
I think like you are.
I think I have the settling question. I think I have the. way
I
we
threw
can
nearly
settle this.
everything out. Like
Yeah.
I pretty much had to start again.
Fair.
Yeah, so you would say,
But
and
you,
like
you
I
had,
would
you
say,
had
like
5 or 6 years experience of joke writing.
I had about 6.5 in.
Yeah,
already,
like that's
so.
invaluable. You could throw
Oh,
all
it
my
like
material
it helped me find my
today,
feet.
and I wouldn't be as bad a comic as I was when I started.
It
Yeah,
helped
but
me
if
find my
you-
feet quicker.
If you
but
went
like,
for best newcomer
Much
now,
quicker.
you would still say you had 8 years of experience of doing.
oh, unfortunately,
Melbourne.
Andrew already shut his load on that one.
Yeah, but like say if you were doing your in this scenario, you are obviously some sort of fucking right wing guy
No.
who's because you just said you would deny my claim.
I'm not a right wing guy. I'm Andrew Hastings.
Yeah, but in this,
You're forgetting that he's like this narcissist who's just so concerned about his ability to
Absolutely.
win best newcomer,
saying-
even though
Okay.
you.
Can I ask my
that
settling?
ship
I think,
has sailed.
You go, but then
all
I have a
right,
question
here we
for
go.
Rose.
I'm laying down.
Yeah.
I'm laying down what's happening.
Yeah.
Here.
I love American Beauty.
Yeah, and that is why Kevin Spacey is innocent. Thank you, America.
Yeah.
No, so what I'm
All right,
saying.
we
go,
people just
but-
say about
Make your point. Yeah.
So
So
in
next
this,
step.
Yeah.
so in this scenario, once again, I'll lay out clearly.
Mm-hmm.
I was a middling to good, reliable MC, like male comic,
Throw out a name. Don't throw out a name. Keep
Jamie
going.
Kirk.
Oh, okay.
That is
Oh, you're great.
that like got like that went to Melbourne before, like in a non-festival managed venue, did
Yeah.
my show farting and rooting
Yeah.
for 28 days.
Yeah.
and didn't get any.
A vulgar
The
display of
whole
farting.
band, 28 days, came to watch
the
your
whole
show,
thing.
farting and
I
rooting.
fucking ripped it up, and they checked this style.
A vulgar display of fart and root
yeah.
was not received. As you know.
A man's guide to navigating the murky waters of feminism, POCs, and all that
God,
nonsense.
look, if I win an award this year, unlikely, but if I do, like, I'd be so tempted to call my show farting and rooting next year.
Man,
you
please.
should, but then you have to give a a little commish to the commissioner.
Yeah.
But anyway, so
That's
like
why they
I'm
call him that.
laying it out.
It would make sense. Oh, actually, I don't want to spoil something.
Yeah.
This
but
episode's taken a glorious turn.
Yeah.
And, so I did find like no reviewers came to it. Like people liked the show well enough. Like it was kind of like
How many stars?
well, there were no reviews. Like I got
Okay.
I got one Funny Ton review that was 3.5 stars. It was like this.
Oh,
bloke,
that's not a great Funny Ton review. You want at
Yeah,
least 4, I reckon.
But it's like this bloke's funny, and like it was a bad night. Like it was a Tuesday, half off tickets on it. But like my run, like I was averaging 10.
Hang on, can I just make a joke that only Hastings will enjoy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Funny Ton reviews are like Meltzer with like Okada versus Omega.
Hell yeah.
They're giving out like
So, man,
they're-
9 stars.
yeah, they're giving out like 7-star reviews. Yeah. Anyway, keep going.
So once again, I'm a beautiful trans woman. No, so like I did that, and I got the Funny Ton review. I was bringing in like 20 people a night, but I got no industry.
20 a night's not bad.
Yeah,
Not
but
bad.
like,
Good size.
actually, you're right. I was getting in 5 to 10, and
Okay.
like on Saturdays I was getting in 15.
Yeah.
Let's
okay.
say. Hastings, would you say that's a good number?
That's fantastic numbers. I'd kill for those numbers.
So
That's like Queen at Wembley.
on after me is who I think is a friend, but seems an angry, bitter young man called Andrew Hastings.
on after you.
Yeah, who
Right.
supports fun and rooting. But
Yeah.
then
He's just had a bad year.
yeah,
okay?
he's had a bad year. He just got married. Now
He's had a terrible year and he got married.
So now what's happened is I've done Fun and Room, but I'm like I feel like this time I finally got to come out as who I really am.
Yep,
I
of course.
reveal myself as trans. Andrew Hastings immediately does not support me.
Hey,
apparently.
whoa.
Well, you just
Yeah,
said you
this
fucking complained.
Does
wouldn't
feel
complain.
similar
I
to
would- I
someone
would-
I
I
know.
wouldn't officially complain, but I would privately complain, absolutely.
Yeah, Andrew Hastings.
Not for you being trans, but
Andrew Hastings
hang on,
publicly
hey,
supported
going
my
for best newcomer,
transition,
two blacks
but
and a
privately
fucking
was like,
charity.
I reckon he's doing it to win awards, and that's right. I said he.
Hang on.
No.
Hang on. This opens up another line of questioning: is
Okay.
what private complaints has Hastings made in like the immediate aftermath of me coming out?
Yeah,
oh
go-
man, I couldn't remember, but,
But
here's,
they were there?
here's a big list. Of them. No, I don't think so.
Were there any?
No.
I'm very supportive of
Yeah.
you and
No,
your...
this is not about. This is not an analog for you. This is me
Okay.
being trans.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
exist.
I believe you're entitled to run for best newcomer.
Thank you. This is actually the first hour of that in
Exactly.
Melbourne.
Because
Yeah.
it's your first hour in Melbourne.
If-
Exactly.
He's still.
But
he's still,
if Reese Piper had done Spirit of the Staircase in 2014 and was now doing Goddess, 5 years removed,
The 5 years changes it a little.
Matt
interesting.
Yeah, a little.
Matt O'Kine had about an 8-year gap. He did an hour and then
Before
waited
being
like
black and then won best newcomer.
yeah.
Why aren't we complaining?
He also drew best newcomer with Ronnie Cheng. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, because
Oh
he
my
was
lord.
technically it was his newcomer does not mean best open micer. It
No,
means
it means
best
first
person with
hour.
a full festival show.
Right, and so Matt O'Kine had done one and then didn't, apparently, is what Rose is saying.
No, but he had
I
done.
reckon if you're like 8 years later, like it's so different.
Maybe. Well, I'm waiting 8 years then.
So anyway, well, you can't do it anymore.
Well, you got to wait
fucker.
16 years because you've done it
Yeah,
twice.
that's true.
So at this point,
Jeez, I wonder what
Yeah.
Andrew Hastings comedy will be from
I take
16 years
I
from
take
now.
like a 2 to 3 month break from comedy to sort myself out and write new material.
Yeah,
'cause
of
I
course, very
don't feel
valid.
comfortable about going on stage the way I look and whatever.
I came out, I came
A
out.
cactus juice.
Well, that was the first place I did it, but like I came out in the January, and I think I waited about 2 months. Like I was still gigging.
You
but
could probably see. I think we posted something on Instagram.
Yeah, I
the
think
very
it
first tab.
was about 2 months later in March. But like I was still, I didn't stop gigging, but I just wasn't ready to go up.
Yeah.
As that yet because I didn't really have any material.
So I'm back, baby.
Yeah.
Jamie. I'm not changing my name. It's still Jamie Kirk.
Yep.
Because it's
That's fair. That's fine. That doesn't come into it.
My sister just had a baby called Jamie, and part of that choice was they gave it a sort of gender. It's born assigned male at birth, but they
Yeah.
gave it that name sort of in case anything like me might happen,
That's
which I
why-
thought was quite nice
That's
of her.
why I'm going to call my kid Hastings, because I know he's going to be sick as hell. And I give
God.
him no other option. I was like, you have to have
can't
sex
imagine-
and eat directly out of an avocado.
Even when you make that joke, I can't imagine like the blank that you'd get from Amy.
Well, I was like, the only way
Andrew's
I
a
get...
cute name.
The only way... No, I'm
No,
saying
Hastings.
Hastings.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
only way I'd get around it now, which I'm like, I'm exposing myself because my wife will listen.
You're exposing. Oh, he is exposing himself.
Sorry,
Oh God!
I'm
Put it
wearing
away.
my Sam.
Spacey fan indeed.
Sorry, I'm wearing my Sam Taunton shorts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would expose myself by saying, I never came into it, Andrew Hastings. I was basing it off Hastings Ruckle, who is a Friday Night Lights character, who I quite enjoy.
Oh, yeah.
And Hastings can be a boy's name. But anyway, that's way besides the point.
Yeah.
So I've come back.
Yeah.
I'm doing-
God, this is the longest hypothetical.
I know, but look how much it's fueling.
Did we get to the end?
Yeah. You reboot your career.
I've rebooted my career.
Yeah.
I've started, I've carving out, and I'm telling you the whole time, I think you're my friend, but it seems like you're not based on what you've been saying.
Very supportive.
I'm back in, I'm hanging out with, the guys and the girls again. I'm trying to I'm going to write this new show. It's, no material I've ever tried before, and in the middle, there's big personal through line about the journey I've been through. Maybe there'll be songs. Maybe there'll be an audio-visual element. Who knows? Yeah. And you say to me, good job, but then you text Charlie and you're like, this fucking bitch
If you
is
say I'm going to Melbourne, I would say, man, that sounds sick. I'm so happy for you. I hope to see you there. I'm doing my first hour this year.
So you shouldn't do another hour.
It'd be great.
Okay, well, let's have this conversation now. So I'm Jamie Kirk, beautiful trans woman. It's Melbourne.
And I'm Andrew Hastings, but I haven't done an hour yet. Because I've got to be in running.
Yeah. Let's say. Okay, so I'm like, oh, hey,
What am
Andrew.
I, the referee or something?
Yeah.
Well, you can just say you came down for a beer. I'll be like, all right, so we're going to Tudor.
I'll do it. Speaking of which.
So the trans women are ganging up on me.
me and I brought my other trans friend.
Muscle.
I brought a bouncer. So, okay, so we sit down. Hey, Andrew, man, it's good to see you. Would you like a beer?
I would love one.
Yeah, make the woman pay for it. Which I believe Rose has done to you
Does
before.
Transitioning also clear the beers you owe me?
I don't owe you anything. Okay, so look, man, I'm thinking of doing this show for Melbourne this year.
Oh man, that's sick. That'd be
and
great.
it's going to be like a show about my transition, so it's all going to be material that I've done. And what do you think about because I respect your opinion as a comedian.
Yeah, that sounds great. I think
This scenario is wild.
Yeah, no, but I was just saying.
Oh yeah, Melbourne would be good. Hope you get a good venue. Yeah,
saying
whatever.
that- yeah. Quick side note: we're back out of the conversation. I'm doing this to butter him up.
Oh, okay.
So
he's not actually being very responsive.
Well, in real
that
life,
was pretty dismissive.
in
what
real
he
life,
just
I
said,
think
in
real life, as a strong masculine man, I think Andrew Hastings is a very funny man. But this is
Mhm.
Jamie Kirk.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
I respect your opinion comedically a lot, and I'd like. Do you mind if maybe you go over my show with me?
Of course,
and,
anytime.
I don't want you to direct it or anything.
No,
but
no, no.
I think if we could do some bits,
Man,
maybe
we could tool some stuff. Yeah,
maybe
sure.
I could even take a look at yours if you are you doing Melbourne
Yeah,
this
I'm doing
year?
it, Melbourne. I'm actually going for best newcomer. It's my first time. I think I got a pretty good shot.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Can I stop again? Wild. Again, this story is wild.
Okay. I'm just like, oh, really? So you're doing a show? What's it called, man?
It's called Vulgar Display of Comedy 2.
I really hope you
because the first one went so well in Sydney.
I really hoped you were going to say vulgar display of farting and riffing.
Oh man, that's
farting and rooting.
It's about my dad.
That's so interesting, Andrew, because you'd think with marketing wise, you wouldn't want to go to Melbourne as best newcomer and call a show Vulgar Display of Comedy 2.
Yeah.
You've always. That's what I've always respected about you, Andrew. You've always blazed your own path. Critics and peers be damned.
Yeah, man. I think people will get that, what I'm trying to do.
Cool, man.
Oh, I haven't seen you crack up like that for a while.
That was just the best little bit of business A6. Man. All right. So we had that laughter was all a sidebar. We're back.
I think people
back of
get
the
it.
pub.
I think it'll be good.
You think people get it?
Yeah, I got high hopes. Yeah.
Yeah. Hi. Oh, that's a great Panic at the Disco song, Andrew.
Not for me.
Well,
Dude, you're not drinking your beer fast enough. No, that's still in the scenario. Yeah.
So what are you thinking for your poster?
Okay, so it's me.
Yeah, that's a good start.
Yeah.
And okay, you're gonna have to stick with me here for a second.
Yeah.
I'm dressed as a woman.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, yeah.
And then
Seems kind of sus.
me as well.
It's a little offensive to both of us.
Yeah,
but, you know.
is me dressed as a man is strangling that woman.
Oh, God.
Now, the face of me dressed as a woman
Can we-
is obscured in the image.
Can we sidebar for a second? Is like we've mentioned that I have a new housemate and we're being very loud, and like that will come across really bad if she could hear that, because she doesn't know the past of the previous poster.
I also want to say back in it's. Yeah,
You
man.
should actually say that. That is a parody of the poster
Oh,
where
yeah.
you were being punched in the face.
Yeah.
People
Li-
thought that it was a woman being punched in the face.
Listen to the episode Andy's Uh-Oh Part 2 for full details.
Yes.
Yeah, so we're back in, and now that you've said that thing about your poster, I'd be like, oh, interesting. This odd that you've got such a kind of misogynistic poster, and you also haven't acknowledged that Rose is even here sitting with us having
That's
a beer.
true, yeah.
Like, say hi to her at least.
Oh, shit. Sorry, I didn't say what's up, man.
Oh, what's up, man?
Whatever.
Okay, so... And do you have
Doing
like,
irony.
Do you have like an?
Oh, God.
Are you like? Do you have like an FMV or anything?
No.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
venue are you doing?
Okay, so it's near. Okay, so you know, like Harry Little Sister behind Melbourne Town Hall, like
Yeah.
where the hub is.
Yeah, so it's like
Yeah.
10 suburbs
So-
over from that. Right?
West Carlton.
It's glowing up.
Yeah, it's
It's in the little amphitheater at Prince's Park.
yeah. Well, there's a little.
I don't even know if there is
there's
one of
this
them.
really beautiful. It's like this 40-seat theater in sort of like it's a few suburbs out of the way, but like it's worth the trip. There's this really beautiful theater. It's 40 seats, low ceilings. The guy who runs the venue is amazing, really good with marketing and promo stuff. So he's got a cousin who rents out the fire escape, and I've got like a little. There's no microphone, but there's like an echo. So it's like, yeah, it's gonna be sweet.
You know what, man? Like I know that you've dealt with like adversity in your career, and like, but like I think that like you could really make that work. Like you're funny enough, and you can call attention to it. So
Yeah.
I just want to like.
I think it's gonna be my year.
Do you mind if I just run some stuff by you about my show?
Yeah, of course,
Like I've
please.
talked to Rose about it already.
Yeah,
but
of
like I
course,
just wanted
yeah.
to talk about it with you and get your
Oh,
perspective
in this
on it.
scenario, I've already won the MICF award for best show.
Yeah,
So
I already
I'm not
Yeah,
threatened.
this show's set in 2025.
Well-
2021.
Well, Rose is directing my show.
Oh, cool,
Oh,
great.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
great, man.
Yeah, I think it's great to have like the MICF award winner go
Yeah,
for my
she's
show.
fantastic.
So like I've been talking like because I've like like I know we haven't been hanging out as much because like I've made friends with like a lot of the women in the comedy scene now and
Yeah.
like so like
I'm busy.
yeah,
You have to fucking get the win.
yeah, you really.
You have to get
I've
the
just been
win.
busy. Like I've had a lot on lately.
I guess you could say we've both been busy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've been really busy.
Yeah, that's great, man. You're making this really hard for me.
As if he wouldn't be in real life too.
Oh god damn it. So yeah, I've been like, because I've like since this transition, like I've been like meeting like other people and like hanging out with other people.
Cool, man.
I feel like I've been talking to like people with FMVs and like talking to them. I think I'm gonna get an FMV. Like that's pretty.
Oh, man, that's
like that's
great.
pretty cool, right?
Man, that's gonna be huge for you.
Yeah.
Didn't get one before you came out. I noticed.
No, but like.
No, just like I don't mean anything by that. It's
But it
just
sounds
something I
like,
noticed.
is there something like you want to say to me? Like,
No, that's great. I reckon. Like, have you like looked at applying for the Gibbo?
You guys are gonna get into a fight.
I'm using.
That's why I'm
being
here.
trans.
I've gotta
as a
get
cover
in
for
here
like,
to
why are
get
you
in the
hanging out with
middle,
Charlie and Jamie?
Yeah. No, that's cool. FMV. Like, have you like? I mean, you can maybe go for best show or like maybe even the Gibbo.
Well,
like,
I don't
if you're
think
doing,
I-
like
I don't think I
trans
could-
stuff. Like Gibbo's
I don't.
probably a good
I
option.
don't think I could go for best show. Because like I'm.
Yeah, right.
Like it's my first.
Hang on, I need a sidebar again.
Okay.
Just telling you to go for the Gibbo, and you're like, trans stuff, that's good for the Gibbo. In the group chat, I think it was yesterday.
I believe it was this morning.
Oh, it was yesterday. We were talking
We're
about
arguing
it.
about what qualifies you for the
where he's
Gibbo.
like, isn't it just fucking weird shit?
Like, it has to be like a high concept show, like
Yeah.
the clowning or being trans.
Okay, so back in.
That's not a high concept.
It's a joke, right?
So like yeah, no, I don't think I'll go for the best show because
Okay,
like,
sure.
because people have been doing it for so much longer than
Yeah,
me and
yeah,
like
of
there's
course.
there's
Tom
like,
Yeah, I'm going to be the first person to win it twice.
yeah, and like Tom Walker's got a great
Yeah.
new show.
Yeah, of
like
course.
he's doing like clown prov now.
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
calling it.
Oh, can I just timestamp a prediction? Winner of the top one this year, Kat Cohen.
Okay, sure.
What's that?
I don't know,
Prediction.
Cat Cohen.
From New York.
Oh,
Does
cool.
like kind of like
right,
cabaret comedy stuff. She's so funny.
Yeah, I think it's going to be
that's my pick.
Tom Walker.
Tom, not a bad shout.
Could be Jenny.
Yeah. I hope it's Cambo again.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
You can't win it twice.
Yeah, I know, but his blurb about they'll give it to me again. So, have you seen it?
No, I haven't seen it.
If you go on it, it's like, I reckon Sam will win the big award again.
That's great.
Okay, so back in, cause we got to end this episode really soon. I mean, not episode, we're just hanging out.
Yeah.
So I don't think I'd go for that.
That was the sidebar. Now we're
So
hanging out
in
again.
more traditional stand-up, so not
And
the
like,
Gibbo.
you know, like, you surely remember because you've been friends with Rose for longer than
Yeah,
me. That,
absolutely.
like, Rose did Best Newcomer in 2020, and then she won the not the Barry, sorry, transphobic.
Yeah.
Sometimes even I make mistakes.
Yeah.
Hey, you've been watching my shows, haven't you?
Yeah.
It's amazing that I've been keeping this going.
Yeah.
I mean, and by keeping this going, I'm not talking about being trans, which I am 100%. But like, so yeah, Rose won it, and
I've just been busy.
Yeah, I'm not talking about like. Sometimes that's the problem with you. I felt it when I was a guy as well. There's like you always have to get the last word, but like I just want you like to do what you were doing before, like support me when I was a dude,
of course,
support me as a woman.
anytime. I've just got a lot of gigs.
So
let's just end this fucking episode.
So I'm not going for the Gibbo either because like, you know, like I don't, you know, man, like I don't do like weird ass fucking cabaret.
Oh no, hang on.
shit or
This one will get him. He hasn't shared this news with you yet, but as happens when you come out as trans, Jamie's actually with Token now, so he's got representation.
I'm talking to people.
Yeah.
I was at Charlie's last night. I was
like, if you want, man, I can like ask.
I was hanging out with Yaz. He used to work at the Comedy Store.
Well, if you want, man, like because we've been friends for so long, like I'm kind of like in talks with Token right now. Like I might like do like a preview at the store. You could open for me if you want.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I could do that. Yeah, definitely. I could be free. I haven't got a lot on at the moment, so I could probably.
What days?
That's a very human.
I know that you said you have a lot of gigs, but like, what days could you do?
I mean, what's today? January the 16th, right now.
Yeah.
I think that's what day of the week is it?
It would be like a Thursday, Friday, Saturday run.
Yeah, I can do that.
Like what one?
No,
you got 3 days,
Oh, okay.
just 3 days free.
I'm free. I can do it.
Okay, cool.
Full
like,
3 day block free.
I mean, like,
I got 52 free full 3 days free. God, yeah, I'm free.
Sorry,
I free Thursday, Fridays, Saturdays.
I don't mean to bring everything back to newly trans Jamie Kirk.
No, of course, please.
You know, as you do when you hang out with friends at the pub and drink, sometimes you get sidetracked and laugh at shitty in-jokes and stuff.
And pretend that you're doing a podcast.
Exactly. Sometimes I like to pretend I'm podcasting. Just in my room, talking to my cats at the cow ranch, talking to my pussy, calling the cow ranch. But I'm thinking of well, I'm not thinking. I've already done it. I've done the application. I've said I'm going for like it's my first show. I'm going for newcomer.
Oh, you're going for newcomer?
Yeah, like I'm going. Like we'll be like compared, but I don't want it to be like a competition.
No.
Like,
That's fine, man. We're all.
And it's like your show sounds so cool.
Right,
It's in the
yeah.
fire
Oh,
escape,
thanks.
and there's no microphone.
Yeah,
and like,
that's great.
Like I've
No,
got.
I'm cool.
And like I've got the Victoria Hotel. Like it's like a great.
I just like
it's like 80 seaters.
So can we just back up a second? But newcomer's the one specifically you're going for. Not Gibbo, the one for weird shows.
No, I don't, because do you think you'd have a chance at the Gibbo?
No, I'm like
Rose, you didn't enter the Gibbo, did you?
No,
I was eligible, but I won best newcomer.
I just do pretty straightforward stand-up. So
Yeah, well, so do I. Like, I would say it's pretty straightforward.
Just because, I thought it had to be your first show.
Well, I mean, it is my first show as Jamie Kirk.
Huh.
As opposed to the last one as Jamie Kirk.
Well, Rose, don't you take his side. You're my
That was a
friend.
sidebar.
Oh, right.
I'm not against anyone's side. I was just under the impression. There were two genders.
To the next step.
To the next step. What a hearty debate at the end there. Whose side do you fall on? We'll never know unless you talk to us, which you should do, because you can contact us on like social media and whatnot. I think We are We Ate It All on Twitter. I think we are We Ate It All podcast on Instagram. We'll just tell your mother we ate it all on Facebook, or you can email us at weateitall69@gmail.com. So thanks for listening to this week and last week's best of episodes. We genuinely really thankful to everybody who voted on clips that we should put in there, and to every guest that sent in a little happy 2-year thing. Thank you so much. We appreciate that. Also, thank you to everybody that's ever been a guest on the show ever. 2 years is pretty long time to have done this, and we have a good time bringing it to you every week, and we're going to keep doing that. Next week, regular programming ensues, albeit remotely, but we're going to get back to watching movies and then not talking about them, so that should be pretty fun. So on a personal level as well, if you want to follow me on social media, I am at Rose Alice Piper on Instagram and Twitter, and just Rose Piper on Facebook. Please come and talk to me. I am alone in my house during this lockdown thing, and I am bored and lonely. But anyway, again, thank you so much to everybody who listens. We really love doing the show for you. Please tell your friends. We would love more people to get involved. So until then, to the next step.